And welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Unscripted and Unchained RPG review, or if you prefer, this is the OSR tabletop with myself, Game Master Bloodworth, and yeah, always trying to keep in touch, especially on these Sunday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Whether I have a very specific topic or not, I just like to reach out and have people come on in and talk about their gaming from the past week, or what they're intending on doing in the next week or a couple of weeks. I will be making a few announcements as far as my activities going forward. I was just looking around the space here for my copies of OSE, and to be honest with you, I have no idea where I put them, but they are going to be playing a bigger role in my gaming going forward here in 2026 than they had in the past. And yeah, I just have no idea where I put those books. They're probably someplace on the shelf behind me, and I just have to go section by section and see where I tucked them away. But yeah, OSE is a game system that I will be playing as a player very, very shortly, coming up on Saturday evening. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the system, and I'm excited, at the fact that the RPG Grandpa will be running the game. It will be set in the world of Greyhawk. Don't know any other details other than that, although it might be in Yeomanry, which is a place that is very near and dear to my heart, because I ran my more recent AD&D First Edition campaign that lasted 2 years and 3 months time in that very region. So really looking forward to it. Looking to see how well the OSC system kind of fits in with that world setting. I've only played that world setting typically with AD&D First Edition, whether it be a player back in the late 70s and early 80s, or as a game master or dungeon master much later on. So really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. The other game system that I'm running very, very consistently now is Dragon Slayer. So Dragon Slayer RPG from Greg Gillespie. And we've already now completed 2 sessions. I'm bringing on a 7th player into that gaming experience. And again, that is something that I'm really, really excited about. That campaign is just pushing me in new directions as a game master, and new things to focus on. So I'm really looking forward to that. And it looks like it's a great group of 7 players coming to the table, and excited about that. That is my Tuesday evening game. That is with my core group of players that have been with me some as long as 4 years now, and others a little bit newer, but it's a nice mix of players that are veterans of my players, and they're almost all veterans of gaming in particular. I don't have anyone that is a complete noob to the tabletop role-playing game hobby, although they are always welcome as well. So that's the game that I'm running right now. So I only have 1 game that I'm running right now, and 2 games that I'm playing in. The second game, which I haven't mentioned yet, is Barrows and Borderlands. That's being run by Shadow and Sun, same YouTube channel, Shadow and Sun, and that's going to be meeting on alternating Thursdays. I am playing a kobold fighter, so I'm really excited about that character. I'm curious about the system, and see how that works out and everything. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to, again, another new game master for me, and another opportunity for me to to see how other people run their games, and and experience the hobby from a gamer's perspective, which is not something that I have done. Overall, I've only done it very sporadically these past 10, 11 years since I've returned to the hobby. And so really excited about that as well. So let me check in the chat and see who's in the chat already. And of course, people will be welcome to join in. And so how's it going, Ducato? I understand that quite a few other YouTubers are were at Page. So that was the Philadelphia Area Game Expo, third year in the running for that. And considering the amount of snow that my hometown, my home itself, had gotten both yesterday and then again today, and the road conditions have been absolutely horrendous these last 2 years, 2 days. And looking back at it, I will say to Ron, I really enjoyed the two times that I've been to Page, but every single year, this weekend has been a nightmare for snowfall, and it just might not be the best time of the year for me, at least, being a driver, to go out there. And I'm just, I'm just, I wish it was a different time of the year. I would go every time, but I would have to play it by ear every single year. Starting to look at, what does the weather conditions look like they're going to be? It just might not be in the cards. But for those YouTubers that are typically here, if they are away this weekend and everything, safe travels, especially here in the Northeast. It's pretty hairy out there, and yeah, and I might be running solo for the next 2 hours without too much competition out there on the channel. So anyway, enjoy your time at a convention. I will have my opportunity to go to a convention in April. That will be Rising Phoenix. That's a much better time of the year travel wise. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, much better time of the year travel wise for myself. Let me see who else I have in here. So Ducato, how's it going? My ear trumpet, as always, thank you so much. Received and Roger, hey Roger, you received a membership from my ear trumpet, so congratulations. You will now be able to see the new content that I just put, exclusive content that I've started to upload onto the channel for members only. Something that was suggested to me from YouTube. Actually, YouTube actually reached out to me, and they said that my channel has been selected to participate in a program for like a membership program for YouTube, where they're kind of giving me hints and tips and things about what I should be doing to better support my members and plus attract new members to the channel. And that was one of the things that I had been remiss in doing. I've always allowed members to go to my Discord, and they'll get a label as a member, a role as a member, and that would open them up to joining any of my games that I actually had openings for. And so that had always been the case, and they've always had a separate chat channel that they can go to on the Discord, but I never really pushed it, and I hadn't been giving them member exclusive videos and whatnot. So one of the things that I decided that I would do is because video games, when I try to show my video games, my live plays, on YouTube, uh, those videos always get demonetized because they always have some kind of like a background music or whatever. It doesn't matter if the game is 20 years old. They are very very hawkish when it comes to demonetizing those videos. And you know, not that I don't enjoy putting out content on there for just my general viewers to come in and see. It is kind of a little bit nerve wracking in the sense of there's a fine line between having something receive a it's not a copyright strike, but it's a demonetization without the strike. But you could actually get a copyright strike, and since I don't want to ever risk that, I will probably save that as members only content. And the other thing with those members only videos that I put up there is I put them up there unmonetized anyway, which means that you should be seeing that content commercial free. So no advertisements going on those. I can't do that here, because, believe it or not, your support has been sufficient enough to basically, keep the channel running as far as, the $25 that I spend on XSplit, and then the cost of this here and doing this here cost I'm sorry, this costs about $25. XSplit is still free. But I could always open that up and look to see if I can support doing that as well. So that's where all of the money, the advertising revenue that I get for this channel, I turn that into ways to upgrade just what I'm doing here for your viewing. So as you know, I recently put in this here a new microphone. So I'm pretty sure that the sound quality is much better. It might even be a little bit too loud for you. So always let me know how the sound is coming through, if it is coming up too loud or whatnot, or if it is kind of tinny sounding. Please let me know, and I will make adjustments to my settings to make sure that kind of clears up. So let's see. The Saturday OSE game is getting settled. I still need to dig up an advanced rule book. Yeah, so I need to dig up my advanced rule books because I misplaced them someplace. They are somewhere around here, and I honestly don't know where I dropped them down. Was looking through them. They might be on my night table, but right now I have no idea where I put them. So at least I have them in PDF form as well. But anyway, yes, so we are working on that, Paul, and the game master is going to start getting the Roll20 all sorted out, and he's working on a blog where we can go to and get some like world content knowledge that he'll be using. So I would say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll probably get started, but we'll wait and see how that's going to sort out. Right now, it's about 4 of us, so he's going to open it up for more people to join as well. So anyway, we're going to move on. Hey, Ultra TTRPG Hunter, how's it going, Hunter? And again, if you're free still on Saturdays, Hunter, that is something that's going to get started, getting put together soon too. Let's see who else we have here. So, hello, Gabriel Rourke, 4303. How's it going? Michael, how's it going? Good to see you. Or Mike. And you should be getting those. You should be getting those alerts too, Mike, as far as membership. If I was looking on the YouTube side, I'd see your icons for members. Actually, let me do that, and that way I can see who is actually in the stream and who my members are and who are not. Um, Mobius, good to see you. And let's go to this real quick. So anyway, as I was saying, my personal gaming has been going, fairly well. I am, yeah, I can see it here now. So same thing, Mobius membership. Yeah, so for my members that are on here, um, check you will see some member exclusive content in there. Let me know if you're seeing that fine, and if you can comment in those, and I really appreciate that, so I know that it is working well for you. And then I'll start doing some I'll start putting up some polls for you to check out, and then you can see, like, you can give me some ideas of what direction you would like the channel to go into, if there's any specific game system you want me to take a look at and whatnot. So yeah, you're welcome to jump in on there. And anybody else who is not a member, if you're considering becoming a member, um, you can enter in. I put it as low as I possibly could. An entry level is only $1 a month. Um, I that gives you the same access as anybody else who is able to go at a higher rate. But I really do appreciate everybody that is simply just passing through, a subscriber, a member, everyone that has just been supporting the channel over these last 9 years. We're into year 10 now with the channel, and I really appreciate all of the support. And I love giving out content, and doing this kind of content, and pushing both the OSR, old school gaming, as well as some newer stuff as well. So independent gaming out there, and whether it is tabletop role playing games. There are some like Avalon Hill games that I was a huge fan of back in the 70s and 80s as well. So yeah, some board gaming is thrown in there as well, and video gaming, of course, whether it's consoles or computer gaming. That's really, I don't have any of my consoles anymore. I wish I still had my PlayStation 2 and some of those older systems, but yeah, none of that stuff has survived, the last 30 years since I've, had them. So, but yeah, you could see some content like that, especially in the members section, and member exclusive videos. As I mentioned earlier, um, doing live plays with those things is a big iffy thing with YouTube. I guess it's a little bit easier to do on Twitch, but I've never been a big fan of Twitch anyway. Let's see. Let's see what else we have here. So yeah, yeah, everybody sign up. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you can, at the very least subscribe. At the very least subscribe. That really does help the channel out. And comment in the comment sections, like videos, do stuff. You can put criticism in there as well. Everything helps support the channel's growth anyway. So, but yeah, if you can join as a member, I super appreciate that, and it helps a lot. So let's see. Yeah, way to go. So yeah, it is it's a great benefit. I'm trying to make the benefit as much for you as well. And so just let me know what other things you'd like to see, especially if if there's a particular game system that you want me to focus on. If you have something out there that you're putting in through like a Kickstarter or some other crowdfunding, or if you've just published something on your own and you're putting it out there, whether it's on Drive Through RPG or Lulu Press or something else, and you want me to take a look at it, just let me know about it. And, I will take a look at it and I will bring you on. You can, boost your product out there. And if it's something that I genuinely like, and, I will purchase it, I will run it, I will play it, I will, get that support out there for your product. In a really nice, fair exchange between, your product, my time, and both of our support for it. I think it will, play out well for both of us. And yeah, so I really look forward to helping support, those of you that are out there. If you're a YouTube channel, I support YouTube channels that are certainly smaller than mine, and even some that are larger than mine. Now, the ones that are really, really bigger than mine, I don't really bother doing that because they don't need me. But yeah, if you have a YouTube channel and you want to be included in my collaborations or whatnot, just reach out and let me know. Um, Usually, the way the collaboration works is that I mean, I don't think you have to be at 500 or more. You do in order for hyping back and forth, I believe. But that's another way that I like to support others out there is I hype their videos. I make sure that I do 3 hypes a week, and I try to spread them out, across the board for channels that, I really do enjoy. Or if you have a very specific video, I just hyped this person's video that she was talking about Italian game companies, and how the RPG space is really blowing up in Italy and everything like that. I was like, I've never seen her stuff come across my feed before, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I was hoping to see Four Against Darkness. I have to reach back out to her and make her aware of Four Against Darkness, since its creator is an Italian creator. Although I don't believe he lives in Italy any longer, I believe he lives in Albania. But still, it's a something I'd like to get out there. He was in the Ukraine actually, and then he moved out of the Ukraine and went to Albania, I believe. But yeah, that's something that I have been doing. I have been spreading out and doing those 3 hypes every single week, and yeah, if you have the power to hype my videos, if you enjoy them, then please feel free to do that as well. Really helps out the channel. So let's see. Let me get some invites out there. If anybody else, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my upcoming gaming as well. So there is the link if you want to jump in on this conversation or whatnot. This is kind of just an open mic kind of thing. So my next convention is Rising Phoenix Gaming Convention. It is in Milford, Massachusetts. It is in April. I'm going to pull up the data on it, and I will relay that to you. So that is going to be April 23rd through 26th, although I am not arriving until Friday, April 24th, and I am leaving Saturday evening, April 25th. I cannot stay the Sunday, unfortunately, but I am booked to be there both Friday night and then into Saturday, well into Saturday. So yes, yeah, showing solidarity and supporting your friends and fellow gamers is a true old school. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's one of the things that I've never looked at other game masters or other YouTube channels or anything as as an adversarial thing. I've always tried to work together, even though sometimes our shows might conflict at the same time or whatnot. Basically, I still don't see them as adversaries. I try to work around their schedule as much as I can, and I'm sure that they might do the same. Whether they do or not doesn't really make a difference to me because I'm still going to go on, when I can. And I really do like to support smaller channels and get them, up to the point that they are monetized. And so you can go in on my when you go onto my homepage for Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review, and you will see featured channels in there. And if you haven't done so already, um, subscribe to those featured channels. So that's like Ducato and Hunter's channel is on there, and you will see Shadow and Son. You will see Legion of Myth, which I think is the largest of the channels on there as well, as far as that's concerned. And then there are a few others on there. I think I have about five to seven, seven channels that are featured on my channel, and go check them out. RPG Grandma is another one, and I have a project coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So again, Rising Phoenix. I am going to be at Rising Phoenix Friday and Saturday. Friday afternoon and evening, I will be running. I will be running Shadow Dark. Let me get my schedule up. So Friday evening, Friday afternoon at 1 p.m., I am running Shards of Ymir. It is an adventure that I had written. I have run this adventure 10 times, 11 times in the convention setting. Originally, it was a Conan 2D20 system, and then I transferred it over to Shadow Dark. I've run it about 8, 9 times using Shadow Dark. It works really, really well. Really excited to it. Then at 7 p.m. Friday, a small favor, a Shadow Dark tournament game. So I was invited by the organizer, of it, of the convention, and asked if I would do the tournament play, if I would run a table for the Shadow Dark tournament. And so I told Scott Legault, I said I would be honored to do so. So I have to reach out to Scott and be like, I like to see the adventure before I actually get there, so I can actually do a little bit of thought and prep about it. Although Shadow Dark is such an easy system to run that I could spend 10 minutes just glancing through the adventure and probably run it without a hitch. So that's a testament to how easy Shadow Dark is to run as a game system, and maybe slightly, on my experience of running at convention play too. So that's my Friday. Now my Saturday morning, I'll be running at 8 a.m. Whispers from the Crypt. That is a Shadow Dark adventure that I had written for convention play. I play tested it amongst my Saturday group for several weeks. We ran it about 3 weeks time, and I've been tweaking that and getting that to where it is tournament play ready. So really excited about that. And then the one non-Shadow Dark game I'll be running Vault 67, The Awakening, a Fallout RPG adventure that I had written for convention play as well. I've ran this last year at the Central New York RPG Con last June, and it went really, really well, and I'm excited about that. Then I am departing. I hope to get home around 8 p.m., 8:30 on that day, and then I'm back to the grind, and I will do a Sunday live stream, obviously, that next day to do a wrap up of the convention and just talk about my convention experience. So let's see, what else do we have here? Just have to eat, but I'll hop on when I'm done. Great. Yeah, it's good. And anybody else, you're welcome to jump on in on this. Yeah, I'll be doing the same in a few minutes. What great beast do you need to slay? Just reach out to me, and you know, if you can link it, or actually send it to me, send me the link to your channel in the private chat, and I'll because then when I post it here, I don't think that it'll get picked up as spam, and so it'll go out there and everybody could see it. So yeah, send it to me in a private chat here on the stream here, and then I will be able to post that in the chat here, and then people can check it out. Go over there and follow, or subscribe, and then I'll move you on to my featured. I'll see who who has not been as active or whatnot, and I'll double check to make sure. I'll put you in there. So yep, just reach out. Hey Squirrel, how's it going? Um, Good to see you as well. Squirrel has a channel as well. So yeah, people with channels, if you want to get your channel shouted out here, uh, just uh, just jump on in, put it in the private chat so that I can then cut it and paste it in in the chat here, because I think when I paste it in there, even if it shows up on YouTube, it won't trigger the spam alert, because I am posting it on my own channel. So so anyway, upcoming projects. So I had mentioned earlier the RPG Grandma, and the RPG Grandma has been doing an incredible series on Star Frontiers. Now she's been basically digging through Alpha Dawn, as as we've been going through these last couple of weeks. She's been covering Alpha Dawn and doing an incredible job on it. Now, I also have had contact for years now with with uh, 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 let me see, let me get his thing, Tom. So Tom Veralt. So Tom Veralt is a content creator over at his own channel. So that's Tabletop Tap Room, and he's a big booster for Star Frontiers. So I've spoken to both now and said I'd love to do a joint live stream, and it could be several in a series talking about talking about Star Frontiers and just digging into the three the three layers of Star Frontiers that are out there, and maybe what some future third party content could be. Obviously filing off the serial numbers of it, and going forward, whether it's through Creative Commons or whatever, and trying to capture as much of Star Frontiers as possible, and at the same time modernizing it in some ways, game mechanics wise, not lore wise or anything like that, and getting that done so that we can get and spark some more interest in it. I I'm fairly confident that if you are running Star Frontiers at a convention, you will fill up your seats. There's no doubt in my mind. People will want to come and they will want to play, whether it's Alpha Dawn, if it's Nighthawks, or if it's even Zebulon's Guide. You're running any one of those three, or all three of them. You combine them all up into one thing. That's what I would love to see someone do with Star Frontiers, is not only update it, but also take the best parts of all three iterations of it and put it into one volume. That would be incredible. Again, you'd have to file off the serial numbers, use the Creative Commons for it, but yeah. So that's something. And then there was one other individual that Tom was going to invite into the conversation, because he's another big Star Frontiers fan. So be on the lookout for this coming together at some point within the next couple of weeks. Certainly by February was my target for that. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. Let's see. Yeah, so your channel is very sporadic with videos. Yeah, but hey, there's stuff out there. They can check it out for sure. Good evening, Sword and Stones. Good to see you. And I think I have everything put out of Star Frontiers. Yeah, I mean, I used to have all of the modules. I don't have the modules, but I do, the adventures and everything. But I have access to some of those. I even have the create your own path adventures, for Star Frontiers as well. Let me find those. I have those here, someplace here on my list of things here. Um, where are you? Here we go. So I have the Villains of Volturnus. I think there was at least one other one that I have here. Captive Planet. And this one is Trouble on Artool. Trouble on Artool. And that's it. So I have these three, and these are pretty cool. Actually, I should take a little look at go through one of these Endless Quest. Maybe that's something I'll bring up during that live stream when we come together. We'll talk about these here. See, I'm sure that they probably have these as well. RPG Grandma, if you have these, let me know. Tom, if you have these, let me know. And we'll go through them. That'll be kind of a fun thing to do. So yeah, I think I pretty much have everything other than all of the adventure modules. I do have them in PDF, but I don't have everything in physical for it. That might be something I'll look to see because they probably won't cost that much on eBay to pick up those adventure modules. Probably $20, $30 max each of those. So I'll definitely check that out and see because for those things, I'd like to have the physical copies of it. For those adventures, I'd like to have physical copies of them. Let me check and see. Yeah, the box set you could get. You can get the rule books for about $12, $20 if you're just getting the rule books. Oh, there's a T-shirt, a vintage T-shirt for $30. Let's see for adventures. I'm just looking to see referee screen and mini module. I don't have that. That's $50. So yeah, like I said, like $20, $25. I see Star Spawn here. I see oh, that's a mix. Alpha Dawn Sundown on Star Mist, very good. $15, $20 with shipping and handling. Yeah, so they are not incredibly expensive at all. Mutiny on Eleanor Morales, Star Frontiers, $20, $5 shipping and handling. Yeah, so you can still get Star Frontiers. You can get the tactical operational manual for $16 total, including shipping and handling. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. You can still get metal miniatures for both Star Frontiers and Gamma World, a lot of 25 figures for 60 bucks. Another vintage t-shirt for anywhere from 15 to $25. I guess they have more than one. Zebulon's Guide is 30 bucks. Yeah. So you can still get these things. You can get the box sets for well, there's a hardcover. This is a reprint, so be careful of those. Um, because you can sometimes get the reprints for the same price on or cheaper on Drive Through RPG. Um, so the War Machine. This is yeah, so this was a little bit more expensive, but still, yeah, definitely reasonable prices that you can get these things. So I definitely recommend you checking out the Larry Elmore art. Didn't hurt. No, of course not. Not at all. That's and the writing. I mean, the writing is phenomenal. The It is one of my favorite sci-fi lores that I ever written. Just such a great lore centric game system that just phenomenal, phenomenal. So it's a real shame that Wizards of the Coast doesn't do anything with that licensed product. Um, it was so much more deserving of of an updating than some of the other hardcovers that they did, like Spelljammer or whatnot. I think Star Frontiers was much more deserving of that. It was tremendously popular back in the 80s. I mean, all of us and all of the groups that I was aware of where we were running Star Frontiers, at least once or twice a week, on top of the other three, 2 or 3 times a week we were running AD&D. Star Frontiers was hugely popular, in its day, and remember the 80s was a time when we had Battlestar Galactica, um, we had Buck Rogers, in the 25th century. I mean, that's partly why um, Lorraine Williams was brought over, unfortunately for TSR. But yeah, I mean, thus, Space 1999 was on television from the late 70s into the early 80s. So many of those things, obviously Star Trek had been, going through, and you were probably into Next Generation by that point, or maybe a little bit later than that point. But I mean, Star Wars, obviously, from 1977 on through the early 80s, was some of the best Star Wars ever created. And it was just huge. It was, so Star Frontiers had a great time frame that was going on. It was kind of piggybacking off of, both Gamma World and Metamorphosis Alpha. And, as brilliant as those were, I think Star Frontiers was a little bit more accessible than Gamma World was. And so, even though I used a totally different system than D&D, it was easily as accessible as D&D was. Yes, it does have a few flaws with it and everything, but we'll get to that when we do our joint live streams coming up sometime in February. So really looking forward to doing that. And let's see, what else do we have coming up? What else do I have coming up? So I just reached out to Joseph Block from, so he is the creator of Adventures Dark and Deep, and he has a new Kickstarter out right now. And so I reached out to him and I was like, hey, once he gets back from the convention, he was at the Philadelphia Area Game Expo this weekend. And I said, when you get back, while your Kickstarter is still running, I'd love to have you on and talk about your newest book. And so, yes, that will be coming up on the channel very shortly as well. Let me double check and make sure nobody's trying to come on in. And I'm rambling, so I missed you. There is the invite if in case you want to jump in on that. So yeah, that's a another video that I have coming up. Um, and again, I welcome anyone who has a convention that they're running, anyone who has a product that they're looking to either put out onto onto whether it's drive through or Lulu Press, or if they're doing crowdfunding. Welcome you to come onto the channel and talk about your product and whatnot. And as I said earlier, um, I always buy the product that I am confident enough to interview you over and everything. Even if you give me like a free PDF, I will buy the physical copy as well. I mean, that's what I did with James Raggy with the Lamentations of the Flame Princess. I bought like $120 worth of books, and he gave me about $200 worth of books to review. So again, and I have to get through this stack of books at some point over the next couple of weeks to really start covering it. I started with this first one, Nebuleth, and one of its co-authors, Alex Hobson, actually came onto the channel, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go a little bit further into this, but because it's an adventure module, basically, despite it being this beautiful hardcover, I'm not going to spoil it, but I think I also have to go into Lamentations of the Flame Princess, the game system, and go through that and break that down a little bit for you as well. Talk about how that system is different than basic Dungeons and Dragons, which it's really based off. It's an OSR, an old school renaissance of D&D Basic. So I will be talking about that and going through some of those items over the next couple of. I mean, literally have months worth of content sitting on that table there. So I will eventually get to all of that going forward as well. So let's see, what else do I have coming up? So my tomorrow Humble Bundle had a good COC bundle, and the charity doesn't piss me off. So win and win. Yeah. So I have a lot of Call of Cthulhu stuff, and someone else just put out. There was another one where they put up everything. I think it was Goodman Games put out something that like everything for DCC in like a bundle. It was like a 200. It was like a $200 plus bundle for $40 or something like that, and it's everything that has ever been distributed for DCC in that bundle. Now I didn't back it because I don't need so much stuff, even in that kind of bundle. Those bundles will come again, and I really don't need to buy 45 different products that I'll never get a chance to actually start digging through and going through them. So yeah, as great as some of these bundles are, I would probably just go to getting them piecemeal as I go, and as I'm potentially going to use them. It's basically what I've done with Hyperborea Third Edition. Is I've been buying adventures for it just as I go, and I think I have enough right now to last me for quite some time, and looking forward to running Hyperborea again. I just have to find the right time slot that it will gain the support that that I need to keep a campaign going successfully for a while. Thursdays is not a great day, at least for me, for running things both in the morning and in the evening. So Thursday nights are just probably not a great gaming night for whatever kind of reason. That's another interesting little conversation that we can have, going forward. And that's something that I'll put out to my members too. It's like, hey, if there's a gaming night that you guys are all, or most of you are all available, and I can put up a poll for my members of what game system, actually first, what days and times are great for you? What game systems would you like to play in? Do you want to do a solo experience? Do you want to do a small group, large group, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you wanted to do, and open that up for you so that we can do one shots and those kinds of things as well. That way I get the experience of running a lot of different game systems, and you do too. You get the experience of exposure to some game systems that you might not have ever played before. And we have Hunter coming in. Let's get that there. Hey Hunter, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I decided to piss off everyone that's practicing Ramadan by having two BLTs. So
Oh, all right. I didn't even know it was Ramadan, to be honest with you.
yeah, the only reason I know about it is because there's like viral posts going around like you can't do this because of Ramadan. You can't do that because of Ramadan, and then
Oh,
there's just
yeah.
like we will do what we want.
I didn't follow any of those food restrictions for my previous own religion, let alone let alone anything else. It's like somebody else's, So it was like I've never been the only time that I've ever given up anything for like Lent was just so I could lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Or I could break
Yeah.
away from something that I didn't want to have, and then it always went beyond that because it was something that I desired, not just because it was Lent, it was just something to remember, at the time. But I can't tell you how many times I forgot that you weren't supposed to eat meat, on Fridays or whatever. I was like, you know, I've always said it, back when I was more practicing anyway. I used to say if the disciples were cattlemen instead of fishermen, we'd be eating steak every Friday during Lent instead. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole food restriction thing has never been something I was like now that I'm pretty much a semi-practicing pagan, I don't really none of that is there. It's like
Right.
you know
Am I coming through a little better now? I noticed that Restream keeps messing up on like what my audio output is supposed to be. So
no, you sound fine now. You might have been a little bit lower when you first came on. Hey Takano,
yeah,
how's it
because
going?
it was connected to my speaker on my laptop instead of for the one to my microphone for some
Oh
reason.
yeah, I
So
hate that with like multiple. It's like if my mic was coming through the camera, holy cow, it sounds like
yeah.
I'm in a 50-gallon drum, at 75 feet below the water surface. It's like it absolutely terrible. I'm looking. That's a next upgrade, I think. I'm looking for a new camera,
Yeah.
one that doesn't have a mic attached to it, and one that's a little bit better than what I currently had. I've upgraded the microphone. Pretty happy with that so far. I haven't had anybody complain. It was like, oh, I can't hear you when I'm listening on a cell phone. But again, if anybody, if it sounds better overall, let me know. And if there's anything that needs to be done, because I got rid of that screen thing too.
Yeah.
I could always get the cap that goes on the mic itself, that the foam cap thing, if it's kind of reverbing or popping or whatever.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the early conversation, last note, I like to jokingly say, if God didn't want us to eat bacon, he wouldn't have made it taste so good.
Mm. Yeah. Takano, how's it going?
Good, good.
So I'm bringing about 600 minis for you to paint for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. I hope you.
Awesome.
I hope you like recreating like Solomon Kane, and I have all those. I have both of those fucking sets.
I'll
So
paint anything. I don't care.
yeah, no,
I had a guy. I never painted it. One of the guys at my that I train with at the gym. They go to Disney like I think multiple times per year, and he hit me up one time. He's like, there was something at Disney you could get like this statue, I don't know, Goofy or whatever it was, and he's like, "How much would you charge me to paint that?" And I was like, "I don't know, like $30." And he's like, "Oh, if I get one, I'll bring it to you." He never got it though. I was like, "I would have painted it. I don't care."
yeah. And we
Doesn't
got
matter to me.
Paul. Let me get Paul in here.
Oh,
This thing does not like to work smooth. No more BX clones.
Nope.
I love how we're just going bald, losing hair. Me still with my gray hair.
That's how it is.
as long as you
Well,
can.
you know, we're still hanging on, despite what Kyle Brinks told us. We're still hanging on. We have outlasted him, so
Yeah.
Well, I guess for Apollo Ducato, it's all down here instead of up here.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah.
Yeah, I can grow all sorts of hair here, but not up there.
I don't get a nice clean horseshoe, so I just shave every time I get a chance.
Yes.
It's done up here. Just go scorched earth.
Yeah, mine's.
I'm not bald. I just shaved my head because it looks cool. All right, from Kill Bill. All right, Volume 2. Right, the Okinawa scene. If you're familiar with it, maybe you're not.
yeah. Since we're talking about
color hair, you can balance it out. Yes,
Yeah.
So there you go.
yeah, you can.
Get the haunted condo in here. He'll show us.
Yeah.
Big old head
Since
of
we're
hair.
talking about space games, one you should look into, Bloodworth, is it's Out of the Black Hack by Roger C. Jones. He's a mutual friend of mine in the Red Rooms, and
Yeah.
this is, despite it being saying Out of the Black Hack, it's not a black hack. It's actually it uses the Hack the RPG system that Bloat Games put out. So it's like a
Okay.
very bare bones like RPG structure that you can
Mhm.
basically build upon anything, and they've used that to make a bunch of their own games as well. But this is it's a sci-fi sitcom RPG. So you're thinking like Spaceballs, Galaxy
Yeah,
Quest,
right.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Last Galaxy. That's what this is. And we actually ran the first session of this on my Saturday show, my Ultra Cat show, where
Right.
usually we'll do like news and pop culture stuff, but we also wanted to do some game, and we're like, well, we do fantasy all the time. Let's do something different. Let's do a
Right.
sci-fi. And I pulled this out because this is one I've been wanting to run for a long time. And so I got so my cast is I got a human. I got one human that he's the assistant sanitation supervisor. So we're already off to a great start there.
Right.
The second character is a evolved humanoid dung beetle. That's the assistant to the assistant
Right.
sanitation supervisor. We have a simulation whose files are corrupted, so he's got part of a human personality, but it's also been corrupted with like the history of Edgar Allan Poe. So he's like two people in one, and then we also have this robot who's just been freshly opened for the first time because he was supposed to be given as a gift to someone else, but was never delivered because this ship has been floating through the deep space for 500 years, and the one human after a drunken party put himself in accidental cryosleep for that long period of time. So when he wakes up, the ship's empty. There's the humanoid dung beetle. There's the simulation, and then there's the robot. So, and shenanigans ensue from there.
Yeah. So what's the name of that again?
Out in the Black Hack.
Out.
Well, I can't remember. It's like it says Out in the Black Hack, but I've always counted Out of the Black Hack. You can find it on Drive Thru RPG,
Right.
and I know if you reach out to Roger himself, like on Discord, or he has an X account too, but he's not on there that much. He will send you a physical copy as well.
Okay.
I
will definitely check that out.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
the good-
looking to see my featured channels, and yes, I have Decato's channel. I have RPG Grandma. I have Shadow and Son. I have James, DM James, and Legion of Myth. And so, yeah, I do have room for some more. I have those are my current 5. I just wanted to double check that. And let's see. Shadow and Sun is the only one that just broke 1,000 subscribers. So give him some watch time because I think that's his last threshold before he can start monetizing, and then I could start sending him, because right now I can't hype his videos. I think there's still a threshold for hyping videos, or you have to be monetized in order for people to hype your videos.
I think so.
I don't know.
I think I looked into.
Because then it doesn't make sense, because they say
It doesn't.
all you need is 500 subscribers. I think you need 500 subscribers to hype, and then you need more. You need to be monetized for people to hype your video. So I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, there seems like there's some
I'm
small print in that.
sorry. I'm able to hype up videos. I do it all the time.
Yeah, so
for
I don't
like
get
Driving
it.
and Dragons
I
and a few
don't
other
know why
channels.
some people
But I
some
only
people just
got-
don't have it turned on. which is another thing. Like you have to actually proactively have your things turned on. Like
Yeah, and I only got like
I've hyped your videos, Staccato.
Mine?
yeah, I only
I
got
know
like
you share 'em.
143 subscribers.
Yeah, but it's but you can't hype shorts or live streams. It has to be just regular
video.
videos. And you can't hype from a computer. You can only hype from an iPad or an iPhone or something like that. It's like,
really?
yeah. You have to you have to hype from an app. You can't hype from the
Hyping it
a
is like the
computer.
secretest of handshakes. You're not
Yeah,
sure exactly
yeah,
how it works.
Yeah. It's such a weird system. It's like, why don't you make this, and it's like the collaborations, because I do the collaborations with Ducato and Hunter. I've sent you collaborations and everything like that. And it doesn't just let you set it as a default collaboration.
Yeah.
I literally have to go in there and then create the link for the collaboration. Then I found that it's easier to actually go straight to Discord and send it to like Ducato.
Yep.
And then Ducato was trying to collaborate with my video before my video was done uploading. But because you have to do that cut and paste while you're still in setting up, because you can't set up a collaboration after the fact. So it's like, so he's there. I remember that was just yesterday or the day before. You were like, for some reason I couldn't do it. After the 5th time I finally got through. I says, yeah, because you were trying to collaborate while it was still uploading. So you
I wondered why,
like this does not exist or something like that.
Yeah, it would just come up and say I don't have any current pending
yeah,
collaborations or whatever the hell it says. And
Yeah, the
I
weird
was
part
like,
is there's not really a section in the YouTube Studio, because I have the YouTube Studio app on my phone. There's not really a section that you can find collaborations on. You have to actually make sure you have the link that they send to you and access it that way through the link that they send to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it should be I should be able to just preset. I'm going to collaborate with these 5 people, and every time I upload, I just hit collaborate, and then it automatically gets sent to them, and then they can approve or disapprove it. When they get the link sent to them in their email or whatever. But
that would be easier.
I have to actually do each and every person. Boom. Well, you've done it too, Ducato. So you have to type in their address, then put it in there, and then you have to create the link and then send them the link separately. It's a complicated thing. When I was in that meeting with them, that training program with them on Friday, I should have mentioned that. I was like, hey, this is cool what you're doing with membership. You should do the same thing for hyping, and you should do the same thing for collaboration, and then work on streamlining those things, because it should be a lot faster for you to be able to do.
It's working though. I'm slowly creeping up there. Slowly.
Oh yeah.
I'm creeping.
Yeah.
I am progress, so that's good.
Yeah. So so Paul, so it was just on with the DM, and I got to find. It's going to drive me nuts. Tomorrow, I'm going to have to look through everything, looking for my OSE books, because I have no idea where I put them.
Because I checked my book and it's only the basic rules, so I'm like, I got to go get the advanced, because that's the one he's running, right?
I would hold off on it.
Okay.
Because they're coming out with new ones anyway. They're coming out with the 2nd edition sometime soon. So unless you can get them dirt cheap like I did,
sure. That might be clearance somewhere.
I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, I paid I think it was $70 or $80 total after shipping and handling for getting the 2 advanced player and referee tomes at the time.
Okay. Was that the fancy slipcase one that they have? Or
no, just the full books, just the 2 books. I didn't get the slipcase. This was before they even announced that. This was even before they announced that they were going to make a 2026 version.
Sure.
Which I don't even know if I'm even going to get that or not. So I'm still up in the air about if I'm going to get that.
I was going to say I'm guessing the big difference for the 2nd edition is going to be they're going to disuse hit points and other terms that WotC or whoever could go after them for.
Yeah, they're changing up a lot of the rules, getting rid of OGL content. There's an article they have on their site that kind of goes a little bit into what they're changing up and stuff. So
I think Hit Points is in Creative Commons now anyway. Hit Points is in Creative Commons.
What's up about Dolmenwood there, Ducato?
I'm wondering if he'll make it more like Dolmenwood, because that's what he did with Dolmenwood. Was he
I've heard good
took
things
out,
about
like,
Dolmenwood.
OGL stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the many things that delayed
Yeah.
it, because that happened while he was kickstarting it. So he was like, "Well, I'm not losing all this." So
Yeah, instead of
Mhm.
sending it to the printer, they're like, all right, let's just go through it with a fine tooth comb and get rid of armor
Yep.
class and all this other shit.
yeah, he kept that
Yeah.
stuff like. Let's see. Push my cat. Let's see.
It is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to lose my marbles. Thinking about where they could possibly be. The only other place it might be is underneath that blanket over there on the chase. It's like, I don't know what I did with them. It's going to drive me nuts, though. So as soon as I wrap up this thing, I'm going to be looking around, looking at every shelf, every nook and cranny where they might have ended up,
Prying up floorboards,
and see where they are. But anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to my gaming. So Tuesday, so tomorrow I have off. Obviously, a lot of us do have off tomorrow. Tomorrow's a federal holiday here in the States, and so I am going to be doing a lot of my prep, and I'm going to be digging. I got this, just got this in the couple days ago. So now I have my hardcover of On Downtime and Domains, spelt the French way, or Domains, as they have it there, and start dealing with that, going through that and prepping. I'm gonna probably dig through some of my endless quests for Star Frontiers and see how those go. So so I've got my next couple of days pretty much plotted out, and then so Paul, I'll reach out. I think tomorrow I'll be meeting with the RPG Grandpa and seeing where we're going to be going with that. He's going to get Roll20 up very soon, within the next day or two, maybe by tomorrow, and then we'll get that going. We'll get that going for OSC and Greyhawk. And he's already told me that it's going to, he's going to do a highly modified Keep on the Borderlands with us, and so we'll be set in Yeomanry. So that's where we'll be starting off in, which is awesome because that's where my AD&D campaign was centered on too, was there. So I was like, all right, I'm pretty familiar with the area, and there's a lot of good opportunities around there. There's a lot of adventure modules were set in that general area. I mean, you have the against the giants, there. Keep on the Borderlands is placed there. At least in some versions, it's been placed there. And then what else is there? In the Hool Marshes, there's others, but we can definitely include.
There we go.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
I'm not. I'm just. I'm in the call center today. I'm not in the condo.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Yeah. So
you have some.
Just need 4 more for Hollywood Squares. We almost got it.
That's right.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get it.
Yeah. I can have as many as 10. So
I was like, maybe there's not enough room on this boat. I was like, maybe I can't get in.
No, there's room for 10 on this. So
Wow.
So I've never had more than 6, I think. So, or maybe 7. I might have had as many as 7, like when all of my players came on at once. That was, I think, 7 at the time. But anyway, good to have you.
Happy
how's your
Ramadan.
game going? Taking a sip of Batman there.
Oh, and rest in peace, Scott Adams. Good.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
Sad.
yeah, he passed away like 2 days ago or so.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bygone era of newspaper comics, and you kind of have to be a certain age to remember all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always loved show. I used to buy those Dilbert the Dilbert tearaway calendars,
Yeah.
and I would always show them to my dad. And my dad, who's big on the business, would always crack up at the majority of them because he
Yeah.
understood them way better than I did.
Yeah, I was never like I remember, I mean, I knew of Dilbert and everything. I didn't follow it that much. I mean, Doonesbury was kind of big, and Calvin and Hobbes, and I mean, I knew a lot of them, but I never like really followed those too often. I followed more of the comic book kind of ones that were in like White Dwarf and those kinds of things, like Thrud the Barbarian, or I like the comic book ones actually probably more than the newspaper ones.
Yeah,
because a lot of the comic books, including Dragon Magazine, had a series as well that those cartoon
Snarf
strips
Quest.
and the in those, and it was pretty cool how they took
Snarf Quest, yeah.
something that
Snarf
was
Quest, Wormy.
Say again, Decado?
Snarf Quest and Wormy.
Yeah,
the three
yeah. It was like it
serials.
was pretty
Yeah.
cool how they adopted that into our
Yeah.
hobby from just the newspaper comic strips, and they fully embraced it. It was a nice crossover, because they were really, really good, too. I mean, there were some other ones that were like pretty brutal, right? They were like they were taking, if you took like AD&D and you hyped it up to like hardcore mode, and that was they had some like that along those lines as well. But yeah, that's another whole aspect that I'll take a look at and say, hey, you know what, I have my 250 Dragon magazines on the CD-ROM, and I can throw that up there and just look at the strips and go over those.
I mean, even CD-ROMs are a throwback now. It's just crazy. I can't keep
yeah,
up. I mean, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was like burning CDRs for my friends, like
yeah.
pure band, like cool metal bands we were into or whatever. It's just like I can't even.
Yeah.
I've heard I can't remember where I heard this, but there was like some like high government building somewhere that still has to use floppy disks because their stuff is just that old.
Yeah.
That they have in their building.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy who he bought up floppies when they were kind of going out of style, but it was because there's a lot of just like the firmware on a lot of industrial equipment and other things uses floppy disks, so it's like he needs that to be around to be like for the backups or whatever. And then once his company goes, pretty much that's it.
Are we talking about floppies or like the harder ones? I can't remember the ones that are like.
I think he did both, but from the video, it seemed like he was.
I think
there's like there's the big ones, and then there's the ones that are like the hardback ones.
There was the true floppy black ones that were that were not encased in a plastic cartridge kind of thing, and then.
What was that made of? It was like a plastic envelope or something like that. Those the original floppies, because then
the original floppies they were about
5 inches,
6 by 6, 6 inches by 6 inches.
Yeah,
very, very like truly floppy. They were not hard.
I just remember having to load up stuff for the Commodore on those, like Wasteland. There was like 9 discs, and you'd be sitting there for like 45 minutes loading that game. Yeah.
Do you guys remember Zip Drive? My buddy had bought one when it came out. It was an iOmega Zip Drive. It was like a big deal, right? Because I think it could have like, I think it was like 100 megs on it or something. It was, that was huge back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was how that financial site, the Motley Fool, started. They got in on the ground level on iOmega stock or whatever and made themselves millionaires.
Really?
Yeah. So they were like, that was the big thing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
because when
I still have all of my my master's degree thesis was on a floppy disk. I was like, that's gone.
Really?
I was like, I don't have hard copies of that anymore. I was like, oh crap, I don't even have that anymore.
I was
looking for it like about 10 years ago. I was like, oh, let me see if I can find this thing, and it's all gone.
I think I've got all my papers on like a 250 meg thumb drive somewhere around here. It's like, they don't even waste time making those anymore. Now it's up to what? Like there's terabyte thumb drives. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't. That's one of the things that's weird about growing older for me is just like when you think about how quickly things have changed in such a short. It's really not that long. It's not that long, like in terms of just like the lifetime of a human being or just history in general. It's really not that, but it's staggering to think about everything that's flown by, right?
Yeah. Well, I had a Smith Corona word processor in 1983 that had a cartridge that could hold 16 pages of text. You know what I'm saying? So I started doing all of my homework assignments on that thing, and you know, I don't know how many. I might have had two of those cartridges. There weren't more than that. And for whatever reason, I never like stocked up on those things because I think that thing turned like obsolete within like 2 years. That's how fast the technology was coming out. Because then we probably went to the black floppy disks at that point, you know, and this thing had like the autocorrect tape because you used to have to put in a typewriter ribbon in it, and it had the one white line that was the autocorrect. You can just hit it; it would white out the last word you just typed in, and then you just type right over the whiteout again, you know. So and then you used to be able to write up your whole document, and then you would just hit enter, and it would just start typing out page after page of everything you just did. It would do it all on its own, and it was something that made for me as a kid. It was obsolete for me to write anymore in in high school or the second half of junior high and all of high school. I was typing everything, you know, to the point that it was, maybe a decade and a half before I had to, or probably closer to like 20 years before. No, not 20 years. Let's see. When did I have to? I guess it was around like 96. So it was about 10 years later, 10 to 12 years later, where I had to write an entire paragraph and handwrite an entire paragraph for a teacher's examination. You know, I had to do like the disclaimer that all of the work was my own work. I was like, you saw me just sitting here and doing it. It was like, they were like, so I printed everything out. I know, oh, no. You have to write this out. You have to write out the whole paragraph, the disclaimer paragraph. And I sat there and I says, you know what? It's probably been about 14 or 15 years since I've written in script beyond my own name. And I says, I just don't remember how to do it. I was like, I don't remember how to create create some of the letters like W's and things like. I was like, I've been typing since I was 13 years old. You know, I was like, I haven't had to use that skill in that many, in so many years.
Yeah, or
and
like
so,
how like cursive or something. I mean, it's just forget.
Yeah, I couldn't write in cursive anymore. My signature, but I could not
That's
write
like
in
an
cursive.
arcane script now. Like I can't even read the shit.
I can print it.
You get like those Call.
I could never read cursive.
Get those Call of Cthulhu handouts, those awesome handouts. It's like I can't even read this damn thing because they're simulating cursive. I'm like, what does this actually say?
Yeah.
You know? God damn it.
I have that same issue with the handouts that you're supposed to have for Cursive Strahd in the first Printing 5 ebook. It's all in freaking cursive, and I'm like,
dude,
I have to pull it up on my phone to be able to read what it's supposed to be saying because I can't read cursive.
They're horrible. I can read cursive, and they suck because they're hard to read. Period.
Yeah. Now printed books for me are hard to read. It's like
I actually had to retype those so people could read them because it's just not that all my players can read cursive. It's just that they're horribly done.
Yeah. Remarkably, these have a pretty good size font on them. You know,
which one's
it's
that?
At least a 10. The Villains of Alternus.
Oh, I had that book when I was a kid.
Yeah. I just pulled them up there. These were readily accessible right here, on my my novels and everything like that. So I was like, all right.
I've got a lot of books since I was a kid, but something happened to all my choose your own adventure books. I don't have any of them. It's weird.
Yeah, I bought these back, so I just went on eBay and I picked them all up. And
those are choose your own adventures.
These all came from Thrift Books.
Oh man, that is the cult. That is cult. That's the real. That's real. Yeah, I was all up on those.
Yeah, these all came from Thrift Books. But I bought them just like within the last couple of years.
Right.
But yep, they're all from thrift books.
I just YouTube recommended me a video earlier last week about a series called The Shannara Chronicles.
Oh, Brooks.
And so
I can't read it. I got to the second
by
paragraph.
Brooks. I just started reading it the other day, and it's not horrible right now. I found the original trilogy at my local library, and I'm waiting for the prequel of the original trilogy to get in from another library. But the funniest part about it was somehow I had a $1 overdue fine from 2012 that I didn't know about at the local library.
How?
But it sounds.
I read those.
It's right up my alley, though. It's a post-apocalyptic Earth in which, because of the destruction, magic came around, and so did all fantasy races. It's literally right up my alley. Yeah. So I'm surprised I didn't know about this sooner.
As soon as I got to the name Flick Olmsford, which was like the second or third paragraph, I set the book down.
Like right within the first page of the book, yeah. Why was
I
that?
stopped it then. Why? I don't know. It just came off to me as the stupidest name I have ever heard in a fantasy novel. And, I was like, I couldn't get past it.
It's not a more ridiculous sounding name than Bilbo Baggins, in my opinion, if we're going to go that route.
It just hit me. When was that book first published?
This is the first of the series. Yeah. Let me look here. Hold on. I got to find the copyright page.
Reminds me, there was a Star Trek book series Peter David wrote, and the main guy was named Mackenzie Calhoun. And I was like, what is this? Like a 40s detective novel? Mackenzie Calhoun? Give me a break.
It says this came out in 1977.
77? Yep. So that was probably the first time that I picked it up and read it, or tried to read it. So
yeah, and then
I dropped it at 77. So I was 10 years old when I first picked up that book, and I was like, nope, it just
the other
broke
ones
it
too.
for me. I was like, nope, not reading it.
They were talking about old comic strips. They did reprints of these guys.
This one,
the old Hal Foster.
Yeah, this one came out. This Elfstones was 1982.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then I'm just curious to know. And then this, the third one of the series came out in 1985. So that's interesting. So that's why I didn't know about them. They were before my time, but you think I still would have known about them in some way or form? Because I read Lord of the Rings. I read Narnia.
There's a TV, not a TV. That's on Netflix, I think.
They did MTV did a one season TV show based on the Elfstone book called the Shannara Chronicles.
Yeah. It was god awful.
Is what it was.
And it's god awful, right?
It sucked.
It was awful. It was by MTV, yeah, probably.
Yeah. The books are
because they were trying to get into the fantasy market at the time, is what they said.
Yeah, they failed because it sucked.
Well,
they said they made a lot of drastic changes compared to what was in the book.
Yeah, so he's telling you to read on. So absolutely read on. If you enjoy it, read on.
I read.
It's the first time I've actually checked anything out from my library in who knows how long. So the fact that I actually am doing this is interesting. But again, it's basically like I would create this world, run Barrows of Borderlands with it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect for that game.
So let's see what else. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. I would never tell you not to read something. I would just, for me, I couldn't get past. Maybe that was just my 10 or 11-year-old brain at the time. I was like, nah.
I mean, it could be worse. We could have all the fighters be named Bob, which is apparently like the common name for a fighter in often D&D and Beyond. When you look at the stats for that,
really, is it?
Yeah, the top name for a D&D character is Bob.
It's on D&D Beyond, so that kind of goes with it, I guess. So, we got Mike coming back on. All right, Mike. There we go. Well, we lost you again. No, let's try it again.
Oh, no.
This thing is like not. There we go. Sorry
about that.
Yeah, it's so sensitive. It's like I think it doesn't click right, and then when I click it a second time, it turns it off. So
can you guys hear me all right?
That slider is very. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm having all kinds of problems too. It's just really annoying.
Yeah, so Dragon Magazine gave some 3rd edition stats for Shannara.
Yeah, they have an old.
Oh, that's cool.
They have a whole issue dedicated pretty much to Shannara.
Like Fred the Fighter, myself. Yeah,
Fred the Fighter.
Yeah, I've always like gone in and I've tried to find, names that names that are have some kind of a meaning. I like meaning to them. I look for things that are in different languages and stuff, like that kind of stuff. So it's like, I played a halfling thief whose backstory was that he was captured and forced, like by a press gang onto a pirate ship, and the way that he got his freedom was that he had taken up a billy club and started fending off the attackers on the ship, and during the time his feet got soaked with blood and everything like that. So when I created the character after that brief backstory, I was like, oh, he's going to be a fighter thief, right? I said, and his name is going to be Tiv, because it was Viking pirates that grabbed him, or Norse pirates that grabbed him. So his name was Tiv Bloodfoter, which means bloody foot, right? So thief bloody foot, because his feet were soaked in blood, and he was going to be double specialized in a billy club, basically, or a what do you call those things? A belaying pin. So I was like, oh yeah, he's going to be double specialized in a belaying pin, and they were like, well, the DM at the time was like, he says, like, you're not going to find magic weapons that are belaying pins or even clubs. He says they're so rare to have them as clubs. So he says you should really go with it. And nope, that's his whole thing, was he's going to be double specialized with a belaying pin. He'll do like 5 to 8 points of damage or something like that with every hit that he makes. But that was good enough for a low level character, and but that whole thing kind of petered out. That whole thing. That was a 5e character on top of that. So it was one of the few times that I played 5e.
If you asked about my gaming, if I want to do a quick report or shout out, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess online. I'm playing in a Limitations of the Flame Princess game with my friend Mark Hess. It takes place in 1650s Maryland colony, so in the New World. Mm-hmm. So it's tons of fun. It's just like so much fun. It's got so much like atmosphere and flavor to it. But he's got a couple different zines that he's done. I think they're all on Lulu. Colony of Death. I think that's. Oh, I'm disappearing. All right, Colony of Death. Mm-hmm. It's got the Doom. They came to Chapman Farm. These are all like little tiny zines, but they're awesome. They're very like punk, And then it's got a timeline of the 17th century, which is kind of cool. It's got like real life historical stuff with like scary supernatural stuff thrown in there. But it's great. It's awesome. For people that are like into history and whatever, it's got a good mix of everything. I think Mark might have been the first guy to do Limitations adventures in the New World.
Oh, before James did. Or
yeah. I think the majority of them are in Europe. I think there's the True Relation came out recently, but Mark put these out a couple years ago. So
these ones, because this is the newest one that he did, the Jamestown and environs.
Yeah,
this is by Ezra Claveri.
Yeah.
So these are the new ones. These are the ones that James Raggy sent me for.
These are. This is like Mark did all this on his own. It just has like Limitations compatible on there. So
check him out.
He beat him by I think a couple of years, but it's really cool. It's just so much fun. It's just got like a little bit of everything going on in it.
Stephen, is that a question about like whose stories I like better or any of us like better? I would go with Conan every time. If you mean
I don't know, they're both great. They're both really good.
Yeah, I would go with Conan. I've listened to the Elric, listened to the first book of it, and it just doesn't carry the way that Conan did for me. But I'm a huge Howard fan. My favorite author. By a bit, my favorite author. Then my second is kind of tied between Tolkien and Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm. I remember years ago, I don't remember if I mentioned this on the stream before, but Runehammer, back in the day, he used to be Drunkens and Dragons. Mm-hmm. That's when he lived out in my area. He did like a DM's like recommended reading video series. Mm-hmm. And I remember he held up a copy of Robert E. Howard Conan collection and Lovecraft, and he's like, this is all you need right here. This is what you need to read.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to read for influences, but he was like, if you want to boil it down to this is what you need. I don't know. Elric's good. I mean, I really like Elric. I think it's really interesting.
I listened to it too. I liked it, but I would lean towards Conan.
Yeah, I still
my favorite.
Yeah, like the Gray, like Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. I tried reading it like decades and decades ago, and I still gravitate towards that. I do need to. I have so many Audible tokens to use up. Every time I use one up, they say you still have 9 remaining, and I was like, I canceled that die, so I'm sitting on like nine things. So I'm like, all right, I just been testing out different different authors and stuff like that, different genres and everything, just to get some audio books. And that's the only time I really have to do anything is, if I'm driving 9 hours a week, I can knock out an audiobook. I can knock out an audiobook every 2 weeks or so. That's what I look to do. So
I grew up with Conan, so I absolutely love Conan. But I started reading the Solomon Kane collection recently, and I think that might be my favorite as an adult. I'm not sure.
Yeah. What are you reading? The Del Rey ones, the big books, or
the like accurate version that hasn't been messed around with, right? I don't have
original,
it. I would show it.
The original writings, those are the only ones worth really. I mean, I have this was my introduction to Conan. Like I'm probably sure a lot of people, this was like your first introduction to it, and even though these are probably a little bit better than Gnome Press ones that came out in the 50s, because these are a little bit truer to the originals, and maybe in most cases they are the same as those, but those are like no difference than what Robert E. Howard originally wrote, but I have all 12 of those. All
those have the best covers.
Huh?
Those have the best covers.
Well, yeah, they're all Frazetta covers, so you really can't go wrong,
No.
And then and then I got these other ones, Worms of the Earth. I have them. I think I pretty much have them all. The Road of Azrael. So some of his historical fictions are awesome too. Skullface.
Yeah, everything he does is awesome.
Almeric, which is another one of his that doesn't often get mentioned, right? You often don't hear about Almeric. And then here's the Three-Bladed Doom. So some more of his this takes place in Afghanistan. So some more historical fictions.
I'm not familiar with Almeric.
Yeah, those are like some of his more obscure ones. And then I have I have so many. I have so many of his things. So the sort of Shahrazar, another historical fiction. Then Sword Woman. That's another really good one. Then we get the Heroes of Bear Creek. So his weird westerns. Those are really cool. These I wish would come out in audio. I would jump on those. Then his take on the Cthulhu mythos. Highly recommend these.
I have the Del Rey collection that's like his horror. I haven't read it yet, but it's all of his horror book stories.
And then I have the other ones that were not the East and not the other ones. What's these? Oh, Bane. Bane came out with a whole bunch of them, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, I have the Age of Conan books too. That those were pretty cool. Some of those were really good, but they were more so built on the video game at the time. The Conan Unchained, the Age of Conan video game, like our MMO when that came out, and then those books came out around the same time. But those are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Robert E. Howard hasn't gotten his own Library of Congress yet, because I mean they did that with Lovecraft.
Yeah,
that's too bad. It's kind of, I mean, that's kind of like a canonization process of sorts. So it's like, I mean, to me they're on par with each other.
Oh yeah, easily on par.
And it just helps.
Actually, Howard was probably Howard was a better author. Actually, he.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
I think Howard was better. Yeah, I'll say that.
I don't like it when mom and dad fight. That's all I'm saying. I don't like it when mom and dad fight.
Howard is I think he was just a little bit more versatile than Lovecraft.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's he did both. I mean, obviously he did Sword and Sorcery with Conan, Kull was slightly different. Well, actually, Kull is pretty much the same as Conan. Solomon Kane is a different character, different time setting, different. He's done historical fiction. He's done eldritch horror. He has done, the Steve Costigan, real world setting, kind of thing. Like all the characters are very similar to one another, but real world settings, historical fictions and whatnot. I mean, no, he's a much more versatile writer, than, Lovecraft wrote eldritch horror. The father of eldritch horror, fine, but that was his genre. Robert E. Howard wrote in multiple genres.
Yep.
So as far as versatility is concerned, Robert E. Howard has it. As far as the number of things that he wrote in the shorter period of time, Robert E. Howard.
What do you guys think?
And then probably more impact overall, I think in just other medium. There's, Lovecraft might have more B-rated movies, but Lovecraft isn't in comics as far as I know, or certainly not for the length of time that Conan, Conan the Barbarian was in, or Solomon Kane and whatnot. So I think multiple. Kind
of makes it even worse. He hasn't been canonized then, in the Library of Congress.
Well, yeah, he should be. That's for certain.
I think he would be. I mean, that's like a great American author right there. So.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I think Lovecraft was a little bit more kind of in the news because of everybody was trying to say like, well, he was a known racist, so now we need to like clean up all of his works and claim his stuff because he's dead. Who's going to fight for it? And that's why you have all these really horribly, they say Lovecraft Country, but that show wasn't really much.
No, that was based on a book, right? That was like a newer book.
Yeah,
it just doesn't really.
But you have that, though, like when people pass away. Because what was that? We were talking about your favorite Conan writers, and I brought up L. Sprague de Camp, and that guy pretty much tried to steal Conan, after Howard was kind of passed away. So that's what happens is people will try to kind of steal these legacies, and I think that's why H.P. Lovecraft was pumped up, so people could like market it and sell it for a modern audience. And it's like, no, he made a very specific type of horror, very much like Poe. Poe had a very specific type of horror, which is cool, but it's like, it's not like you're going to have a lot of people jump on that. That was like, that's to that person's experience, and that's what's great about it. Anybody can write that stuff. It's just you have to base it on your experiences. Hence the problem with modern writers. They haven't really lived, so they can't write about anything. You know? Whereas like all these guys who were the great sci-fi luminaries were all in like the Department of Naval Intelligence during World War II, so they saw some weird stuff. So that's where they got all these crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was digging around. You mentioned Lamentations. There's a book called The Staffordshire Trading Company Works of John Williams. Great title. You know,
that's the book of maps, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything about it. You just read that title and you're like, what is this? This sounds very like just, I don't know, very hoity-toity or something about it. But it's just, it's a book of like 140 maps by Glyn Seal. So it's like for the price, you're getting gold.
Yeah.
Glyn
Seal does awesome work too. Oh my God. And that guy is everywhere. He is like quietly everywhere.
It's like it gives you deck plans for a ship. It gives you like, here's what a Mott and Bailey is. Here's what a tower. Here's what the inside of a trading company, a harbor master's office looks like. There's maps for everything in there. So it's like, if you're using this for anything, you can like, here you go. You've got the maps. You don't have to Google anything. It's all in this like $130 book. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great resource.
I really wish Lamentations would have, and people were asking for this a couple years ago. People like, where's like a early modern source book, like 1400s, 1600s, like just in one book, or it's like, here's all the things you really need to know. I really wish they had something official like that. Like, I know there's other things to do, and you can definitely, with these kinds of games, you can fall into a historical rabbit hole where you're reading everything, which is kind of cool. You know, it's kind of got an educational element to it, but it'd be nice if there was just like that one book that you had. I know that second edition had different historical periods. Like, I know that they had their own 1600s. It was like a Mighty Fortress is what it was called. That was like their source book for second edition. But I think there was a couple other ones, but I wish it had something like that.
One.
Yeah.
Something Charlemagne, I think. There were the green cover black books.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, for AD&D second edition?
Yeah, they had all these little niche time periods that
they had the historical books, because they had the brown ones for like the race and the classes, and then the green ones was like
they literally had a
Byzantium one, and
they had one for Ravenloft that was called Mask of the Red Death, and it was all about playing in the Victorian era.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
and I believe that one was second edition.
Hey, Bluddworth, I had a question for you, actually, because you were a history teacher, right? If I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you weren't a math teacher, because I'd probably just like run out of here screaming. But anyway,
you know what's funny? All history teachers look alike. They're either going bald and they're always wearing glasses. Now that I think about it, every history teacher I had looked exactly like Bluddworth.
And their chat is too, man. I remember you said Michael, and I was like, I thought like when the stream started, I was like, I felt like I was in school immediately. I was like, I looked around for my pencil and my notebook. I thought I was going to get deducted points for the day because I didn't show up on time. But I was going to ask you, like, there's like the kind of the historical stuff. There's like the like what Pundit does, the historical based. I forget.
Yes, authentic. Yeah.
Historical authentic. I'm just like, how do you feel about that? Because I think it's really cool, like for material and like to read about it adds a lot, I think. But for me, I mean, I'm a history guy, but like I'm definitely not like a scholar or anything. So I always find it a little bit intimidating. Like I'm going to get something wrong, and it's going to mess up the whole game. So that was always something about it that I was kind of like uneasy.
I mean, I just like if you're going to do a historical fiction, you have to clearly state that it's a historical fiction. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like and then I don't personally like running a campaign in a known world setting during its well-documented timeline.
Yeah.
So like I would never run anything in Middle Earth in the Third Age. I'm like, no, I'm going to the Fourth Age, because you're going to step all over, the storyline. You're going to expect to run into the expectation of running into, those, those characters that are known characters, or at least I was like, how do you not interfere with their storyline? So that's the first thing. I don't mind putting real world elements into a into a fictional setting, but you're not going to have some of the concepts of it, but not all of it. But again, have to put out that it's a historical fiction. So I think that those that have done that, and like Robert E. Howard, right? Like he put enough of the historical into the Hyborian Age without it being so academically accurate that it's like, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like he used enough of it to influence.
Right.
I'll give you another example, real world example. So when I was teaching 10th grade, that's when the Amistad movie came out.
Oh, I remember.
Right. So whatever year that was, and the Amistad movie was released, and we received at our high school, we received a package of it, like how to show it off to students and everything like that, how to use this movie in your classroom, blah, 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 blah. And now I was a brand new teacher. I was my first year teaching, after having done, my, so this was like 96 or 97, somewhere around there. So anyway, we start looking through the materials and everything, and our director of the humanities, which covered both language arts and and history, he came in and he was like, I'm not telling you that you can't show this movie, but you're not going to use the lesson plans for it. He says, because the lesson plans do not lay out that this is a historical fiction. He says the movie literally changes the closing argument of John Adams. All right, in the court case. And he says it literally changes the Supreme Court ruling. It changes the wording of it. All right. Plus, like Morgan Freeman's character was an amalgamation of different characters, brought together into one. And he was like, this is being put out as historical fact. And that's why you shouldn't be using this in your classroom. All right. So like the exact opposite, right? Where historical fiction was trying to be put out as fact. And he was like, I really don't recommend that you use this. And so I certainly didn't do it, being a first year teacher. But, the others were pretty much the same way. They were like, no, we're not going to use it.
Different time.
So there you kind of have the reverse, right? You had a historical fiction being put out as fact rather than, the other way around. I give a little bit more leeway in a game, where you don't have to be historically accurate.
Yeah. That's funny because these days they would just railroad it through. They would just be like, it. Yeah. Like, we're not going to go into the nuances of a cinematic depiction of like how the editorial choices that they make in order to make this movie and all this kind of stuff. We're not going to go into that.
Yeah.
You can take it at face value, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of there's this I forget, it was like the company, I think they were called like Red Panda Publishing or something, but they created this this Bible-based 5e module in which because apparently there's like 3 years between in Jesus's life before it's like the 3 years before the crucifixion happens that isn't not really documented well. So they were like, oh, since this is documented, we can just throw characters in here and not really mess with anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Jesus,
they have Yeah, so well, not orcs, but you have like your humans. You have there's like some giant race, and like there's Nephilim that you can also play as apparently in this module as well. But they specifically said that there's these 3 years that aren't really documented, so we feel safe enough to like throw this module around this timeline, so we don't mess up the biblical history.
Yeah,
For which game is this?
It's a module by a company called Red Panda Publishing. I came across it years ago, and I do not remember for the life of me like what the name of the module was called.
I'm just wondering what system it's for, because if it's
it,
like
it was 5e. It was a 5e.
5e.
Yeah, it was 2014 5e based.
So, all right, guys, here's the plan. We grab Jesus. We use Dimension Door. We get him out of here.
Oh yeah, you know,
Here's
they're
the
like
plan,
going to
guys.
the crucifixion and saving the good Lord Jesus from Pontius Pilate. Like, grab him and go. It's like the memes of the time traveler going back in time to visit Jesus, and Jesus speaking like Aramaic, and then he turns to the time traveler and speaks perfect English, and being like, "You're not supposed to be here," and snaps his fingers, and the time traveler goes back.
Hey, Coco, how's it going?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
yeah.
I missed seeing you in the chat. So,
oh, that's me. Yeah, I was asking if they were any good.
I don't think I have any of the. I don't have those green ones. No, I mean I have some green ones, but I don't have those particular in the. I don't have those in the AD&D 2E.
Do you have any of those, Staccato? Are you just familiar with
No.
them, or do you have any of them?
Yeah, I just familiar. I never had any of those. Probably
Yeah,
when I was a kid, I thought
at
it
a
was
certain
weird
point
that
with
they were doing like
the
real
2E stuff, I stopped
you know?
buying. I was like, I got enough. I have like 30 books of it. I was like, it's enough.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, as a dungeon master, if I was running a historical authentic thing, is like I would just have to be like, this is an approximate. Like, I'm gonna get stuff like we're not gonna, it's just like lore with anything else. Like, if you're, if you're playing like a 40K TTRPG, like, God help you, because the Warhammer lore guys are serious and they know their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you get anything wrong, but like, if I'm doing Dark Albion, War of the Roses, like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm not sure if I'm really qualified to do this. But I feel like at the same time, like, if you're a dungeon master, you're supposed to kind of take liberties with certain, you're supposed to make it your own. So like, it doesn't, as long as like everything's trucking along and everybody's, as long as the game is running good, like, I guess it doesn't really make a difference. But that's always been the thing for me, is like, am I gonna accidentally like mess up some stuff? I know with like Pundit with Dark Albion, I think he added firearms which aren't in that period. They were just starting to get guns,
right?
But
that was my thought press when I was creating my Richard Dixie module, which is basically a American Civil War supplement for the Richard RPG system.
Right.
Was like I did, it was a very like a basic kind of layout. Like, here's what you could do, because Richard RPG, like I said, they have so much in that book. There was literally like, I didn't need to like create like 100 pages of stuff. I was just giving like the bare minimum. Like, hey, Retro RPG is free. You can get that and do this, and then here's some stuff to kind of help you figure out like how to do a Civil War game with it. And my thing I did I did 3 adventures. I had the Battle of Pea Ridge, because I live in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I did the Battle of Gettysburg, which was because that's such a well-known battle, and then I also covered the Hunt for John Wilkes Booth. But because I love the folklore stuff, I threw in like folklore monsters. So like in the Battle of Pea Ridge, the Confederate Army came across a Gararu, which is this weird like wolf reptile hybrid animal.
Yeah.
And now you gotta steal it back from the Confederate Army. For Gettysburg, the fight's going as normal, but you disturb the hive of dogmen, and now they're joining in the fight.
Dogmen, man, that came up at the game with Mark on Friday. We're like, where are these freaking dogmen? Like, that was like, we kept talking about them, like, man, everywhere I look.
And then for John Wilkes Booth, when you confront him at the bar, he becomes an Eldritch Abomination Knight, and now you got to fight this Golden Knight statue, because I was playing with the conspiracy theory of him being part of the Knights of the Golden Circle. So he's a Golden Eldritch Knight that you have to fight and defeat.
Awesome, yeah, heck yeah, I got that dog.
And you get
Dogman.
Yep, you can get that on my itch.io. Just look at Richard Dixie, and it's only like $2.
So hey, in real world, it was the Pinkertons that found Wilkes Booth, right?
I have no clue.
Isn't that their big claim to fame?
Oh, they were the ones that got him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got him and they busted every union. I can't remember.
Yeah. That was their real claim to fame was
before they were raiding, game shops for magic cards or whatever it is.
I was about to say
they got
before they did houses for magic cards.
Yeah, I think they're owned by Securitas, which is just like a Shadowrun security, megacorp, right? So I don't know. Yeah. History's funny.
I just found my OSC books.
Hey,
I kind of sensed them behind me. I was like, they got to be there somewhere.
This whole conversation, he's just been sitting there in the back of his head running like,
yeah, it's been like,
which shelf?
Like, where are they?
Somewhere around here. I know it.
I know they're there somewhere. I'm getting to the point where I need a third bookshelf, but that's just not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff that I'm donating. Oh my gosh, when I go to ShireCon, I'm donating probably about 50 pounds worth of books. So maybe even more. That's just tons and tons of stuff that I'm donating.
When I get my Portal Adventure box set in, which will get here way before my local con that I attended last year, the Adventure Con, is happening again in June. And I'm going to run Barrows and Borderlands at the Adventure Con this year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that whole Portal Adventure box with me.
I've been meaning to get that. When I first heard about it, the first thing that popped in my mind was like, this is Wizards the game. Like, like from the 80s or whatever, that animated movie.
Yeah, the Ralph Bakshi.
They have...
Yeah.
There actually is a Wizards RPG that's out there. I came across the PDFs for it.
Yeah.
There's a Wizards RPG.
Really? It was an RPG for everything, I guess. But yeah, the first thing I thought of was like, this is the same sort of deal.
Mix it with the rest of the Bakshi-verse. You could play Fritz the
Matthew Tapp has said that Wizards was an inspiration for Bears of Borderlands. One of many.
Yeah. I've been meaning to get it just because it's awesome, but like I think it's so cool that they're just like they put it together in their house and they mail it out. Like that's just like so old school, that's that's metal punk. That's just like the real thing. He's got stacks of
Matt
them.
would sometimes he would join in on like video calls and we would all just be hanging out and just talking about everything. And he would do it while he was printing stuff. And there was one point where he had so much on his table, like the table was starting to like sag from the weight of all the paper sitting on top of it.
Yeah. That's funny. Their Discord, but
I think we lost
him. Out. They're onto him.
Oh, me.
Now the Pinkertons are after him now.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're glitching a little bit.
He's back.
Oh yeah, I guess I got the Pinkertons in like that. So anyway,
you mentioned the Pinkertons. You said their name 3 times.
Now somebody.
Peter Thiel's after.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Wilkes Booth. Like, But their Discord for Barrows and Borderlands is like they're always doing. I mean, that's a legit community. They're watching movies in there. They're doing. I think inside their games they say join our Discord and play games with us and stuff. They're just like hyperactive all the time, which is awesome.
That's how you got to do it these days. If you got a small game, that's how Shadow Dark did it. That's how you just have to run it, and if people enjoy it, they'll be like, "Yeah, I liked playing that," and then they'll be more inclined to purchase. So
that Discord, it looks like a clubhouse, right? It's just like they're hanging out. It's like like I said, they're watching movies during the week together. They're doing everything. It's fully being taken advantage of. Like every aspect is like.
The majority of one of the main reasons why I've now got a library of like old 80s like movies on Tubi is because one, I exposed myself on another friend's stream like months back. I started off by saying I had never seen any of the Predator movies, and then it just started going through down like a whole list of like 80s movies I had just never seen. And then when I got into the Borderlands, I started watching a lot of them. Like I watched Krull for the first time.
I was just going to mention that.
I watched Highlander for the first time on that server. I watched Conan the Barbarian for the first time on that server. Like, and then I watched. I eventually came across. I watched Jason the Argonauts. Yeah. I need to watch Deathstalker still. I got those saved. There's like a bunch of movies I still got to watch that I have saved because of Bears of Borderlands and all that. So all these old school movies.
I didn't know I did a Deathstalker was a series.
Who was the old stop motion guy that did Jason and the Argonauts? He was like legendary. Harryhausen, yeah, Clash of the Titans and all those. Yeah, he was the old stop motion guy, like the Titan of it. Anybody follow Castle Grief at all? He did Calarath. Pretty much like published it out of a.
I've been yeah, I got the. Well, this is just like the first 3. It's like the core rules and the first 2 Zines. You can get this on Lulu, but he's got like more Zines for this now. But I backed this. He did a Kickstarter for a space game called Arathi Sector that uses the same rule set as this, but it's space travel instead of Swords and Sorcery.
Yeah, because I heard,
and I'm part of a
lot of the guys that I know that
had
like really good stuff were talking high about Calarath, so I ended up backing Arathi Sector because I've been looking for sci-fi games like crazy. So
I'm part of a campaign server that's run by my buddy Jack McCarthy, who's got his own YouTube channel. He usually does a Monday show where he just interviews different creators and stuff at different channels. But he created his own world based around doing solo play with Calarath, and then he created the campaign server. So we all basically do like our own solo sessions with our own characters. Sometimes we all get together and we do like pit fights and all that. But I recently I did a week-long sea travel thing because there's another creator named Silver Nightingale that does a lot of like Calarath stuff too. And they created this land called Al Rathak. And it's like it's very much Middle Eastern, Middle Eastern inspired. So I traveled a week by sea from Calarath to Al Rathak. I lost half my crew in the process, but I made it. But I was just rolling the dice, typing everything out, making sure I'm doing it all, and it's just really cool because we all talk to each other, communicate what's going on, and all that. So it's very fun just to have like this shared campaign that we're all doing like our own solo stuff in.
Gotcha.
Hey, Decado, what do you got? You got Cthulhu, or you got a Mind Flayer coming out of the wall?
Oh yeah, Mind Flayer, which is basically.
Oh, I didn't even notice that was there.
I kept I was like, what is going on?
Way.
Yeah, killer, dude. It's way better than taxidermy.
Yeah, that was a Christmas present from my son and my wife a couple.
Hey, that could actually have been a Mind Flayer. He killed himself. You don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I want to roll initiative against that thing. It looks pretty fearsome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's sort of the scale, so it's fun.
Hey, Bluddworth, can I borrow your Conan sword so I can fight that Mind Slayer over there in Decado's place?
That's my home defense. I'm waiting for somebody to break into my home one day, and then to watch the newspaper report. Person killed by, a home intruder killed by Conan's father's sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there'll be articles about how we need common sense sword laws.
Yeah. Or you always see these headlines about some dude with a fedora and a trench coat and a samurai sword on a subway.
I don't know how sturdy that thing is, but it's it is a stainless steel blade. It's not sharpened, but you could sharpen it.
Sure.
I don't think it'll fragment like the fake katanas that they used to sell all the time. They will flake off if you tried to sharpen them.
Yeah.
But
the $80 Pakistani ones, that'll do it. That'll happen.
Yeah, I used to have a Roman short sword that I bought in Italy in 1987. That was a true sword. I mean, it was, again, it wasn't sharpened, but it was certainly, it was a, handcrafted, solid tang, short sword. It was thing was awesome. Even brought it on a plane with me. That's carry on. It was brought that along with a crossbow onto the plane. And that's how, and I had a flail, which was a ball and chain with a spiked ball on it that was pretty dangerous item. That was carry on too. I walked onto the plane in 1987 with 3 weapons. I was crossbow and crossbow bolts, on the plane. And not a problem. That was carry on. No problem at all.
Very different time.
So
used to be you could just wear a Bowie knife. Now you can't.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy too because in the 80s was like the height of airplane hijackings.
Oh yeah,
you know,
well,
like
that same year,
they were
80s,
happening all the time.
that was 87. That was the year that the Milan airport had the hand grenade attack.
Yeah.
You know, so but you could walk on the plane from, you know, I left from we came home from Milan. That was the airport that we went through. And yeah, they had super tight security and everything. But I guess they weren't so much worried about planes going out as they were coming in.
It's different.
So
Definitely different now.
yeah, they were more uptight about us coming home with cheese than they were about us walking through customs with weapons.
So I haven't flown a lot, but the one time I had to fly, me and a buddy flew to Tennessee for a training thing, and we were at the Portland airport, and I had this hard case, you know, long case, and it was full of firearms because we were going to a firearms training thing. So I didn't think anything, you know, I go in, you know, we're following procedure. I go up to the ticket counter and it says, you know, if you have firearms, you have to declare them. So I take this case and it's like, boom, and I put it on the thing. I flip it open and the girl behind the counter is like, she's like, please tell me that you're either in the military or in law enforcement. And I'm like, yeah, law enforcement. So she's like, oh, okay. And I didn't know, but there was this like little old lady right behind me, like grandmother. I didn't see her. So I'm like, I do everything I do, I get my paperwork, and I turn around. This little old woman just grabs me by the arm. And she's like, you can't go any further until you tell me why you have all those guns. so I explained it to her, and she's like, oh, okay.
That's why.
There you go. And it was fun, though. It was fun.
You just met the real TSA. She's like, what are you doing, young man?
Yeah. And I set off an alarm in Memphis airport. And my buddy and I, we were flying back, and we were getting ready to. We were going through security, and we, you know, take all your belt off and all that dumb stuff. And I'm like, I think I just heard our names on the PA get called to come back to TSA. So we're like, what the hell? So we grab our stuff and we trundle across the airport, and they met us halfway, and they were pretty cool actually. They were like, do you guys is there something in one of your bags? Do you have like, because they knew we had guns because we, you know, had already checked them, and they're like, do you have like ammunition or something? I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Like I had a Camelback with 2 pouches on it, and in the top pouch I had like 50 rounds of pistol ammo. And I'm like, they're like, okay.
They did not specify ammo. They only said guns. You did. You were obeying them lawfully.
No, you have to specify ammo too. And I just forgot about it.
I mean, they did not. They should have specified that. You should have specified that.
We went back and they're like, yep, found it. You guys are all set. Go. I'm like, thanks. Setting off alarms.
You know, one time returning home from Fort Dix, we were heading back to our military police unit, and our Humvee broke down just on the inside of. You know, we just crossed over the bridge from New Jersey. We ended up in Brooklyn, you know, and not Brooklyn, in the Bronx. And so as soon as we crossed the George Washington Bridge and came down, we came down onto a side street there, and the vehicle just died. So we're sitting there. In the vehicle, we had 2 M60s, 50 caliber machine gun, our 3 M16s. All 3 of us had our Berettas, our pistols. And there we were, broken down. I'm like, well, you guys, you know, stay with the vehicle and everything. And I walked up, and it just happened to be a police precinct. So I said, listen, we're going back to our armory, and we have a truck full of both ammo and, you know, and some heavy weapons. They were like, what? We were like, yeah, well, we can't stay out on the street, you know, because it's a rough neighborhood right there, too. I was like, can't stay on the street, and we're all armed to the teeth. Can we come in here until they can send, you know, a vehicle and everything like that? All right, you got to bring in the weapons. I don't know why, like, they heard everything that I said that we had, but when we walked through the front door with it, they were like, holy shit, like, they just blew them away. how much stuff we actually walked in with. We're like, oh no, we just came from, we got to know what you were doing, where you're coming from and everything. We just came from crew served weapons training. I said, that's why we have machine guns and all of this shit. And it was, what a disaster it was. And then, you know, our commander was losing his marbles because there was no way we're getting back before the whole, you know, the whole facility was shut down, you know, for the night. So like, oh, are you gonna take it home with you? I was like, sir, you're the company commander.
You're in charge.
Authorize us to take it home with us. I mean, we were good enough taking it across state lines and going to a place and coming, you know, back again. We're good to bring it to one of our homes and everything like that. You know, it was a nightmare. You know, plus the police didn't know how to handle it. Our unit commander didn't know how to handle it. It was like this must have happened before, right? It's like, but between Fort Dix, New Jersey, and you know, our units there out there on Long Island, there had to be a lot of, you know, cross traffic of weapons and stuff crossing over. I guess they weren't too used to it all being in one vehicle. That was the other big, you know, taboo, was that you're not supposed to have everything in one vehicle. But we were just one fire team. That's why we had everything in one vehicle. But it was, yeah, it's always been like, I've never traveled with any of, you know, on airlines with my stuff, but my older brother used to all the time. You know,
it wasn't that difficult, really, but
yeah.
It depends on where you go, though.
Like, an air marshal, he used to be assigned an air marshal because of the sensitivity of the stuff he was doing. He was doing biochemical weapons research.
Oh my God, 12 Monkeys, man.
Yeah, so he used to travel between the United States and Russia all the time, and he used to be assigned to an air marshal, or he could carry on the plane because he had a carry permit for, you know, a federal carry permit for airlines included. But he always opted for the air marshal. He was like, I'd rather have the air marshal, you know, assigned to me rather than me carrying on the plane itself. But yeah, it was like, I've never had to deal with that kind of stuff in airports. I would never think of carrying it to an airport. I'll drive, you know, and if I had to go someplace with my stuff, I'll just drive there.
Well, in hindsight, when I went to Tennessee, it would have actually been quicker for us to drive. We had nothing but fucking trouble trying to get there with the airlines. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was a horror show. Took us 2 days to get to Tennessee from Portland, Maine. I could have driven there.
Yeah.
I remember one night when I was younger, like I was still in high school, my dad did a lot of public speaking for just his own little personal, like kind of motivational speaking type stuff. Now, we did a thing one summer where we traveled to like 3 different states for like several different speaking events. And the Cadillac we had at the time broke down in the very, well, I say the wrong part of Atlanta, but any part of Atlanta is the wrong part of Atlanta at this point. So we broke out outside this gas station. And my dad left me fast asleep in my car while he walked to like the nearest place that could service automobiles. And I don't know how long he was walking, but the gas station we had stopped at, the guy was behind bulletproof glass. So that tells you like all about that. So
yeah, like his Claymore mines. Yeah, Claymore mines are only a danger to the enemy in front of you. So as long as you're not an enemy in front of me, you're fine. That was my first teaching course, was the installation and recovery of Claymore mines. Had very little application to teaching middle school U.S. history. But
I mean, if you're good, then every student is a potential explosive device. There you go.
Oh, yes, of course. The potential enemy in front of you. But yes, yeah, it had very little application. Although it wasn't the wrong answer when I was interviewing for the city of Baltimore high schools. And, you know, they were like, well, what kind of training, you know, what kind of teaching did you do in the military? And I was like, well, Claymore mines, you know, setting up firing positions. That was the other class that I taught. And, you know, that was my, teaching training at that point. And it didn't seem to be the wrong answer for them. So I was like, all right, maybe Baltimore High School isn't the place I want to be in 1995 at the time.
Wow, dude.
Said, nah.
Yeah. You don't want to teach high school in The Wire?
Yeah. That was before The Wire. That was inspired by The Wire.
I know. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they feel about it, because I feel like when anyone says Maryland or Baltimore, I'm like, oh no, that's Stringer Bell and The Wire, man. Like that's the first thing I think of. It's kind of like RoboCop.
I ended up in Hunts Point Middle School, so I had the hookers of Hunts Point, right? The ladies of Hunts Point or something like that was
hell yeah.
What was the MTV or what was that? I forget what that streamed on. That might have been MTV, right?
Right.
Sounds like their class, yeah.
Yeah, the ladies of Hunts Point or something like that. It was about the prostitution ring that was right outside my middle school every day. So.
No, we had a teacher in our school district that got busted for apparently running a prostitute ring.
Yeah, it's
there we go.
No joke.
Come on. Can these teachers get a raise? They're running prostitute ring. Come on. Can they get a little bit of can a brother get a salary? Look what they're resorting to.
Now, I want to say that I think the only reason they found it is because they discovered that some of the students may have been part of this ring, but I can't confirm or deny that.
I had students that were part of that, and it was and their mothers and their whatever. Yeah, that was the only thing our principal asked them to do was not to be out on the street at entry time and dismissal time. And they pretty much.
I love how we went from TTR.
Huh?
I love how we went from TTRPGs to prostitute rings.
Yes.
Yeah, we should make a random table for this.
I was going to say
I was about to mention that.
That'll be a random encounter.
The Harlots table from.
The Harlots.
Yeah, put that on a random
first edition.
It's a city campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
Hold on.
All makes
Hold
sense.
on. I got a book for.
I just don't want to accidentally get us demonetized because I
know this is a live stream, so you're much more free on live stream.
Okay, the Shucked
Oyster, which is a whorehouse for Shadow Dark that has a list of harlots that you can come across at the Shucked Oyster.
Right. But there's no.
But this was made by
there's no studly dudes for the
Black Lodge boys.
No, but there. Black Lodge. Yep, but there is. Hold on, because there's one in here that's like my absolute favorite. There is in here. Ah, crap, where is she? I gotta find her.
Oh, Nerd Cognito's here. What's up, nerd?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, there is Opal, the bearded lady.
Opal, the bearded lady. There you go.
Yeah. Why can't she be a class, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah. You also got here's Dolly the Centaur.
Oh yeah, Dolly
as well.
Dolly Parton the Centaur.
And who put that out?
Imagine that.
Black Lodge Games was
one
of their Kickstarters. The artwork in here was done by Patty's Parlor.
Mm-hmm.
People said that was really good. It's got such a funny
name. It is good.
And people said it was really, really great. Really great book.
Oh yeah, I used it in a mini Shadow Dark campaign I ran at one point. I literally keep all my Shadow Dark books in like a tote right here underneath my desk. That's how I was like, I gotta pull this out now that we're talking about whorehouses.
Hey, do you have any whorehouses in your game, Staccato? Any ladies of the night, sex workers?
My guys have never looked for them, so
yeah. I
haven't really used them a lot because my son, who's now 21, but he started gaming with us before he was 10, so we kind of shied away from that stuff.
Yeah, no, I pretty much.
I'm sure if they asked, I'd come up with something.
PG-13.
Yeah,
PG-13 for me.
I'm kind of like
any of that stuff. We're about adventuring at my table. So if that's not part of the adventure, more possible for it to be in like the Conan 2D20, when I was running that, because it's just more part of the, of the thematic, thing of the Hyborian age. But my D&D or any of the other things, never really crossed that line. It doesn't need to be part of what we're doing. Even with my with my Gangbusters campaign, even though that is something that they could set up for, for their criminal organization and everything like that, it's like we never actually got into actually doing that. They did the gambling and the fixing fights and some heists and things like that, but not anything like that. I've never been one to try to integrate any of the stuff that is truly exploitive. Even if I have slavery in the game, their players are not involved in slavery. They're usually freeing slaves. What I'm saying? It's like, or it's just not part of the game at all. So
yeah,
I like to run heroic fantasies, and
I think the closest I could see it coming up is
at least somewhat heroic.
If I'm playing like a thief character using like a streetwise role and being like, I'm going to talk to the local whores because they're out on the street, they might have seen something. And that's about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the full extent of it is, not actually participating in. Like on my Dragon Slayer campaign, I have an assassin in the group and I have a thief in the group, and I said you also have a paladin in the group. So don't think that you're going to be using poison. Don't think that you're going to, as part of your carousal, that you're going to pick up an assassination, thing on the carousal, or, resort to banditry during your carousal role or whatever. You're basically going to be, you use your assassination skills against very, very specific targets. Never an innocent, always a cult leader or something like that. And for the thief, you're not stealing, for the purpose of, greed. You're using your thieving skills for either adventuring, or if you have to steal a particular item that is needed for your adventure, then that would be permissible. But basically, nothing evil is taking place, and that's something that's all right. I can buy into that. So. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long it lasts. I've played characters with evil characters with a paladin in the group, and eventually the paladin was like, "Oh no, you either you're leaving or I'm killing you," kind of thing. Yeah. It's like you've crossed the line, too many times.
I'm not like, for me, I'm kind of like a teenage Quentin Tarantino fan on the inside. Like I'm not. I make jokes and stuff like that, but like I'm not into X cards and safety tools and all that nonsense. But like, yeah, I'm kind of the same way. It's gonna be like pulpy, whatever. We're not gonna be dealing with like sex gooner stuff. We're not gonna be dealing with any of that. But if it's like comic relief or funny, like if it's like Dolly Parton the Centaur. If it's gonna get a good laugh out of people, that's okay. But I don't go into. I don't. Apart from a couple good laughs, it's not, banter is great, but no, I don't go any further.
Yeah. I'm not building it into the game. I'm not doing any of that kind of like, truly like personal or, no real world identification is coming into my game. None of that identity politics or whatnot. No one is doing their sexual fetishes in my game table.
We're not here for
that. We're
that.
going to play a game, not to explore alternate identities or anything like that.
It's Conan and Lovecraft, that's where we're at. Yeah. It's like, that's kind of what we're going for. And we're going to laugh and have a good time while we do it. But,
Well, I usually am like, if it's stuff like that happens, it's Fade to Black. Well, unfortunately, and this is mostly just the look of the dice, and also because it's one of the things where you joke about it so often it becomes reality in the game, which I've had happen multiple times when I've done that kind of stuff. In my Curse of Strahd campaign I've been running, we're using 5e 2014. Let's see, I had 2 of the player characters ended up hooking up later once they finally got to a town, and then I had one player end up falling in love with the arena chick that they were escorting, and it was literally like they were just doing normal stuff, role playing it out, and then to roll the dice, it was like, okay, I guess you two are now in love or something, because it got to the point where they're just like, hey, it's dark, there's no hope in Barovia, we might as well live while we're still alive, kind of sense. It's kind of what they were going for. Mm-hmm. But it's built this intriguing story that's actually kind of has that has actually also helped narrate the plot, because I made a lot of changes to the campaign to make it feel more like my own than just running it based out of the book as well. And I made it a lot more deadly too. Like I keep sharing, the very first session I ran this campaign, I just about killed them all with 5 zombies alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
when
forget
you were
somebody
showing
was saying that they had a character get killed in like the first 5 minutes. It was like, oops, it's that kind of, it's bad dice rolls. Sometimes it happens.
When you were showing this Chuck Dorser, the first thing we were talking about that, the first thing I thought of was like the bar scene in Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
On
Yeah.
Mars. That's
that
like
is
the first
what
thing
I have not
thought of.
seen.
Like that's like, that's like just on the edge of like, it's like pulpy, but it's entertaining and not. It doesn't.
That's
go
the
all
one
the way.
with with the 3-boobed alien chick, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
That's
And
the
there's like
scene. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
the smaller lady with the huge knife when they have that big bar
Yeah.
fight and stuff. Yeah,
The midget. Yep.
yeah.
I only know of that scene. I've never actually seen the
Or
movie though.
the taxi
Yeah.
cab driver. I got 8 kids to feed. No, that's
Yeah,
that kind of
Benny.
reminds me of a Chuck Torster. Yeah, Benny. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I got 5 kids to feed.
Yeah.
I never seen the more recent. I've never seen the remake of that, or at least only parts of it. Like
I've never gotten through it.
The Colin
Yeah.
Farrell was the Colin Farrell one where I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be closer to the book because it's all Earth based.
It was a Schwarzenegger movie originally, wasn't it? Before
Oh, yeah.
the remake.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best. Just fantastic.
Yeah,
Paul
Verhoeven, just like
ridiculously violent movie.
just
Yeah.
amazing.
I remember
movie.
there's a scene where he like shoves a thing up and he pulls like a ball like out of his brain through his
the
nose.
tracking device out of
through
his
his nose. Yeah, the tracking thing,
device in his
Yeah.
skull.
Yeah. You are me. Yeah, that's such a great. He rubs the towel around his head to dampen the tracking device and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, great film. That's like
it's a
my
great
appendix N is like Verhoeven movies. That's like to me. That's like if someone was like, what's like the tone or atmosphere or whatever do you want for your game? I'm like, what I'm reaching for is like RoboCop total, like that kind of feel of like a little bit of satirical humor, but it's still kind of cool, like it's that kind of thing, or like Army of Darkness, maybe
dark hyper violent satire.
Yeah, like kind of grim dark but funny with a sense of humor,
Yeah,
like,
Army of Darkness.
Total Recall hits.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Evil Dead. That's a great movie.
Two of the best villain actors in it too. You had Ronnie Cox and Michael Ironside. So
totally. Yeah. Michael Ironside's awesome.
Yeah, and Sharon Stone, young Sharon Stone.
If I was to pick like a movie, like original, like one way I would describe it is I want like The Crow mixed with fantasy elements, but I would more go along with how the Bright movie is, where you got modern day, but you got the orc cops, or what I like to like the Elven essay gang, as I like to call them, and all that. So
that movie was.
That's like
I saw it when it came. Right? It's pretty underrated. I was like, me and my friends were like, this is basically Shadowrun. It just doesn't have cyberpunk stuff in it. It was kind of an underrated movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was pretty good. I thought.
I don't think I've seen the Shadowrun movie.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
We're saying Bright is pretty much.
Bright is basically it's modern day Shadowrun. It's a non-cyberpunk Shadowrun. Yeah. Which I want to do like a fantasy. I want to do something like Shadowrun, but I can never get a straight answer on which version of Shadowrun is the best. So I'm just gonna do Cities Without Number and take like some of the fantasy and take like OSR fantasy races to like give my players, because the Without Numbers books are all OSR compatible. So
I don't think any of the Shadowrun games are actually good games.
If you got the paid version of
they have the
Cities
greatest
Without
lore,
Number,
but they have their game mechanics are all crap. At least that's what the one from Catalyst. The
Catalyst has done everything wrong pretty much. As far as like, if you want to play Shadowrun, just go to second edition, or third, because as you go further on in editions, the rules bloat and just it becomes this miasma of D6s that you're marching through.
There's now this new game, Shadowrun game series called Shadowrun Anarchy, which is apparently supposed to be a more rules light version, but it's got very mixed reviews though. So
it's still got the same. I've played it. It's got the same. Those people can't hire a copy editor to save their lives. It's the same crap that we've been seeing for Shadowrun for the last like 15 years. It's just it's better, yes, as a game, it's better, but it's still just like a train wreck. Like It's just the basic like quality of life stuff that every other game system, no matter if it's indie or corporate, has managed to overcome. Except them, I don't get it.
Yeah,
like
if I'm buying a collector's edition of one of the books, nowhere should page XX ever show up. That should have been hammered out during proofreading. And
it's pretty bad when that comes out. Yeah,
I bought the World Atlas for 5th edition, and it was like one year I flipped the page. Like every year had a different page, and it was like, oh, cool. And then there was one where it was like, I think they repeated 2055 or something like that. It was like it was the same on the next page, and I was like, you guys are clowns. Like, how did you not pick that up? That this page is the same as the next one. You suck. Yeah, Catalyst is terrible.
Right, yeah, totally. Yeah.
They're awful.
It's just.
But
I played a bit of sorry.
Oh, but really quick, yeah, Cities Without Number, the fantasy and spells, that's actually in the back. He added it, so you don't even have to do any house ruling. You could just mix it right in. It's in. There's like additional stuff he's put in the back.
He's getting it right now.
Yeah,
that tells you how much of this I've actually read, because I did not know that was in the back of the book.
Well, that was one of the big reasons I picked it up.
Oh yeah, I see it right here.
All Shadowrun fans are like, we're just looking for a system that's good because the setting is awesome. But yeah, the system is dog shit. It's been bad for like 20, 30 years almost.
And it's in Worlds Without Numbers?
It's in Cities Without Number, the Cyberpunk one. Yeah. So in the back it has.
I feel like
I don't have any of the other ones.
I feel like
I've got Worlds and Cities, and that's about it. I think.
Yeah.
I
then they have a new one.
Ashes Without Numbers, the post-apocalyptic one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got magic. It doesn't say anything about the fantasy races here in the back, so
they're in there. I forgot what the hell it was called. They're not called elves. They're called like the Sylphine or something like that.
Variant Humanity probably. Yeah, that's what I think it might be.
Yeah.
Takado, you say you're a Shadowrun fan?
Yeah, I played it a little bit, not a lot. I read a lot of the novels. I used to have a big collection of probably 2nd edition Shadowrun, but the mechanics suck so bad that we never really got anything off the ground for any length of time.
Yeah, right. And it's a shame because I love the magic system. That's like one magic system that I actually like in RPGs. There's none of this like Vancian whatever. It's like you can up the spell, but it causes more strain, so you have to do a willpower roll against it. Otherwise, you'll pass out. But since it's the modern era, people just hit you with like a adrenaline shot to get you going or something. Yeah, they'll hit you with a slap catch. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's the setting is unbelievably one of the greatest. But man, dog shit for.
That's what everybody says. Yeah, it's
like
that's. I mean, I grew up playing it too, and I'm like. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. That's where, I mean, could you imagine what it was like being a kid playing Shadowrun? I mean, we would have all of our own real life locations in Tacoma. I mean, Tacoma's on the part of the Seattle Metro. You know, it was like great. It was so good but I'm not messing with. I mean, it's just it's kind of a tragedy, you know. Like I like Cyberpunk 2077. I like the Cyberpunk game. I think it's awesome too, but. I just kept thinking, like, why is like Shadowrun keep falling between the cracks? It keeps getting like it just never gets to break out. When Shadowrun Returns came out, those video games came out. I mean, a lot of us were like, "Wow, this is great. This is like old school, right?" But they just never get their shit together. It's the same problems they've had for like 20 years.
I tried to read through Cyberpunk, but my thing is, I am not a big fan of super crunchy games. Like I ended up getting rid of my Pathfinder books because that game is just so crunchy. I couldn't even give them away to people. I dropped them off at my Goodwill. No one would take my Pathfinder books from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like all that like
oh, sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Bluddworth, did you get a chance to play any Shadowrun over the years?
No, I've never played it. I mean, I've played it on video games, but I've never played it on tabletop. I have the box set. I have the box set.
I feel
like the 7th edition box set.
Yeah,
I've never played it.
I feel like this when you have guests on your stream, it's not a real stream together unless we bomb on Shadowrun. Like we gotta take 10 minutes to just say what the hell, like rest in peace Shadowrun.
Pretty much. Well, anytime it's brought up, that's what it's what's agreed upon. Love the lore system sucks. Hey, have you read Cities Without Number?
Yeah. The only thing that everyone can agree on whenever I ever have asked about trying to figure out Shadowrun is the only thing everyone can agree on is we love just throwing like hundreds of D6s on the table, just watching them all fly.
Right. Yeah.
What a ridiculous die system.
There's a YouTuber, I can't remember his name right now. I don't know if it's like Pink Mohawk or Black Trench Coat or something like that.
I think it's Pink Mohawk. I think
Mike
because
Mohawk?
I know Pink Mohawk does a lot of that stuff.
He plays, I think he plays second edition, and his recommendation was like pretty much throw out riggers and deckers and just run it with everything else. And I was like, that makes sense, but you've also cut out like 50% of the game, unfortunately. Like, so you're just kind of
a lot of the.
I mean, it's which I understand, but like I'm just like that's like half the game. So it's like, can we? I wish we just had a better way of doing this. You know.
My few forays into it, I worked with a couple guys that were right into it, and I hadn't done any role playing for a while, so I got invited into their game, and they did the same thing though. Like nobody was a decker, and they didn't have any riggers either. There was like a street samurai and
mage and a shaman.
The adept. Physical
adept. One of the better games we actually had was I think it was like 5 of us were different types of magicians. Like I was the physical adept, then we had like a shaman, we had a guy who would just make deals with fire elementals. He was like our heavy artillery guy. And then like if we needed muscle, we had a guy who was an on the run Yakuza street samurai. So he was all chromed up, and we're like, yeah, you sit over there in case we need anybody to shoot things, but we're gonna do our weird magic woo-woo stuff. But it was cool because they had rules where you could form a circle, and then you did your monthly like summoning of the totem that you guys worship to get magical powers from. There's like all that in-depth crazy magic, the meta magic stuff you could go into, which was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun and interesting.
Yeah,
so it's a cool way to play it, as opposed to everybody building like these individual characters and then you get smashed together for missions. We had like a mage circle that went around doing crazy stuff. It was kind of fun.
I thought they did a good job. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead first. You were already talking, so.
Oh no, I just very quickly. I thought it was interesting. You know, the shaman and the mage are like that's their version of the cleric and the magic user, and I thought they did a really good job with that because like the shaman, you pick a totem, which is like a cleric picking a god, right? And it has all these different qualities and stuff. They just did a really good job, like weaving in the Native American pagan sort of stuff instead of, you know.
And the cool thing about the full-blooded magician in that was like you could write your own spells, and it was like crazy expensive. So that explained like why are you going on these missions for millions of nuyen? And it's like spell components ain't easy to come by. You know, somebody's got to go to Amazonia and fight like a basilisk or whatever for half of this stuff. So and then I got to pay
being
for
a mage ain't cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of old. That's the old school thing, is right. You know, it's like magic is like you got to do this research, and it costs lots of money, and that's the reason to go adventuring, right? So. Sorry, Hunter, go ahead, man.
No, you're good. Another game I would recommend is if you want to be like a filthy story gamer for like a little while, there's a game.
Oh man,
it's called Otherscape, which uses a variation of the Power by the Apocalypse system, with the exception of you're creating themes and tags. So you're building kind of an outline of your character. So you have like themes that just say how you are as a human. You have themes that say like what your powers are, which are all based on like gods, myths, monsters, etc. But then the third theme set for Otherscape is they introduce like all your cyberpunk stuff. So like your cybernetics, your hacking skills, all that. And it's a 2d6, add tags. And it's the usual like fail, mixed success, great success kind of deal. So that's another game I would recommend if you want the more like narrative focused, be that the filthy story gamer kind of RPG if you want to for a little bit.
You know,
but
sure.
if the game system works, you can run it like an old school game. You know, if you think it works, you can do it.
The reason I have it, and they also they just created a fantasy version as well, because the very first RPG I ever played was made by the same people. It's called City of Mist by Son of Oak Studios, and it's bright. It's that modern day. It's people with powers basically. So you have like someone running a restaurant, and he's a mafia don, but he's literally got the power of Hades as well at the same time. So it's just that fun fantasy mixed in with that modern day stuff that I really came to appreciate and love. And that was my first foray into a tabletop role-playing game back during the year of our Lord and Savior COVID-19, as I like to say.
There we go.
There you go.
I was considering using just Cyborg. This is the Morkborg guys.
Yep.
As like just as a base system to do a cyberpunk thing, just because they don't have magic in here, but they have nanites, which will give you like special powers and whatever. I know that like the Borg games are definitely controversial, and I have a lot to say about the original Borg. I'm kind of ambivalent about it, but I think this is actually a better game. I think this stands on its own a lot more than the Borg ones.
That's what I heard
this
about
has more
Pirate
going
Borg.
for
It seems like some of the other ones kind of like evaded the just the design mess that is Borg.
Yeah,
and just
Pirate Borg is one of the most original things that have came from the Borg kind of universe since the Borg universe came to be. Because I forgot whose channel I was saying this on, but that's kind of one there's like three things that's kind of been known to be popular now. Is if you make anything for 5e, you make anything for Shadow Dark, which again, Shadow Dark is not a bad system, so that's not really, I'm not saying that's a negative. But then the just Borg this, Borg that has also been. And now the Borg, the system itself, the game system, is a good system. That's what got me more into like the OSR style of play to begin with, because I love the fast, the deadly combat of Borg. It's the fact that you can't read it at the time because of all the stupid art that they put into it, and the fan base that surrounds the Borg universe, as I call it. That's what kills it all for me. But other than that, like I love, like I own Cyborg because I wanted to do like I have this idea for like a Red Dawn 3000 campaign where Russia and China are like now one force. They took over America, and you're the last remnant of the American military trying to fight them off.
Oh, dude, it's like the Nazgul invasion, and then we gotta. Wow.
But yeah, definitely Bluddworth idea for a show. When you get Courtney Campbell on to talk about On Downtime and Domains, he also did that Sinless game. He did Sinless, which is pretty much his love letter to Shadowrun. So could ask him how he fixed it.
Yeah, I can also have Alexander Macros come on for this too, because he was a contributor as well. And but yeah, I will certainly. The door is always open for any of these people that want to come on and and chat. And like I said, my next interview will probably be Joseph Block for his new Kickstarter.
Oh, sweet.
For Adventures Dark and Deep, that expansion. So I'll be touching bases with him, and then I'm going to do a big thing with Star Frontiers with 3 or 4 of us coming together and just talking about Star Frontiers and doing a nice deep dive into both the game system and the lore. And I think it's really interesting thing with that is the way that you really have 3 different game systems. So you have Alpha Dawn, then you have the Nighthawks, and then you have the Zebulons. And it really is like, I think with each one it gets better, which is kind of an interesting thing that significantly changes the game and the way that it goes, but keeps on improving it, from one to the other, and oftentimes you don't really see that, and that's all with the same creator too, making those dramatic changes along the way. So that's another. I think I'm really interested in getting that whole series of of streams, collaborative streams going, and talking about just one game system and its evolution. I think that's something I haven't done before, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But bringing people on to talk about these things here and Barrows and Borderlands. Once I get a little bit more familiar with it, I've only played one session of it, but would love to have that Matt. His last name is slipping my mind right now. I'll grab it behind me. But
Matt Colville?
No. Barrows and Borderlands is Matt,
Matthew Tapp.
Matthew Tapp.
Matthew Tapp. Yeah.
Great dude.
Came close.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having those various people coming on and talking about the stuff that they worked on, and
I gotta reach out to Emperor's Choice Games, because I had Matthew Tapp on talking about Portal Adventure Bears and Borderlands, but I need the Empire Choice guys on now because I had never heard of Arduin until this Kickstarter happened, And I had all sorts of questions like, what is Arduin? So I just need him to come on to like just give me the download, like what Arduin is and all that.
Yeah.
So I want to hear
Fill you
from
in.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely fill
Yeah.
you
So
in.
it definitely be interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to it, and I'd love to have you know, especially once I start doing the Star Frontier stuff, I'd love to have Zeb Cook come on. But from what I understand, he's kind of jaded about the way Star Frontiers was treated. So I don't know if he'll come on and he'll talk about Oriental Adventures, but not Star Frontiers. I think there's some bad blood about Star Frontiers in the way that either TSR treated it at the end or how Wizards of the Coast treated it.
I can tell you that there's a podcast called When We Were Wizards, and I forget which episode it was because there's 14 episodes. One of the episodes they do cover like how poorly they treated the Star Frontiers RPG.
Yeah.
Oh, and we lost Mike again.
Yep. So, yeah. So, yeah. But if he wanted to come on, I mean, obviously, I'd love to have him come on and talk about it. But I absolutely love that game. Yeah, I
never played it. Never had it.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that game. The lore in that game is just astonishing. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Takato, check out RPG Grandma's series on it. I mean, she's done probably about a dozen videos on it now, just breaking down Alpha Dawn. I mean, she's doing a deep dive. You know, so yeah, if she ran it, I would tell you jump in on her game because she's like she doesn't do the gaming like online gaming and everything. I was like, oh, I'm telling you, I would jump on that game right away. I mean, she was talking about just the monorail system and how the system works with like chases and doing chases, and she integrated like the monorail into describing it and everything. And and I was like, damn, I want to play that game with you right now. It's like just her coverage of it has been amazing. So, yeah, thanks a lot, Mike, and let us know when the Pinkertons release you. Let us know when they
let you out.
Yeah, let us know when they let you out. But anyway, yeah, actually, I'm going to wrap this thing up because my daughter is. We've had like snow like crazy these last 24 hours. So. She's just at a neighbor's house, but we didn't let her drive there because the roads are still like shit. There's not that much snow on them, but their roads are really, really treacherous. So, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this thing up and see if she's ready to come home at 10 o'clock. But anyway, yeah, this would have been like I said earlier on. I don't know if you were on Takato, but I was like, Pages this weekend, and once again, this is 3 years in a row. And we've had major snowstorms the same weekend as Page.
I was chatting with a couple guys that were like Roger was down there and George Hardy was down there and stuff. And I was chatting with them. They're like, yeah, we're getting pounded. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad it would have been nice to see some people, but I'm like, I don't need to make that drive.
No, it's like, I mean, they got to find a different weekend or just a different time. January for whatever reason, this second, third week of weekend of January is always just snow. 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row. Just snow.
I got invited last year at CNY to come for this year as a vendor, but the big deciding factor was like I didn't want to drive down there in January.
Yeah.
And for this very reason, because it storms every weekend. So I was like, no.
So that's why I cut off. I think it's October to March, nothing in between there because it's just too.
It gets kind of crazy there. That time frame. I mean, we got our first snowstorm in November.
Yeah, we did. Like my group, we do our annual gaming weekend. We usually we haven't even scheduled it yet because we're having location issues, but we usually do it at my in-laws' camp. And we've even been snowed in there. We got snowed in there one year. A bunch of us. We couldn't go anywhere, which we didn't want to. So it was like fine, but we lost a couple people because of it because they foolishly went home instead of staying at the camp. And I say camp, it's a lake house. And I'm like, but we my brother-in-law had to come plow us out because there was one guy that wanted to go home that night at the last night so he could go to work in the morning, but the rest of us just camped out there for another night. So I was driving to 8 hours
like
to
Jack
Philly.
Nicholson
Like,
in The
nope.
Shining, right? You just find
Yeah.
someone frozen in.
Yeah, we were stocked in there, but we had games and food, so we were all set.
Yeah. You make them, yeah, you can go home, but you have to go through this maze to get home, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somebody will be chasing you with an axe. Yeah,
It's called
get running.
immersion, right? Yeah, this is going to be hard.
Here's
Going all in on
Johnny.
this one.
All right, guys. Listen, thanks a lot. And, always good to, chat with you guys. And these live streams, they always go into all different kinds of directions and everything, but always a good time. So thanks a lot. You have a good one. And I will see you all probably by next weekend. I'll probably be talking to Joe Block. So hopefully that's where it goes. All right. You'll have a good one.